What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I am your host, Matthew McKim, and I have a good show for you guys today. It's going to be jam-packed, full of spicy Matt. I'm going to be on fire tonight because there's just so much stupidity and lies abounding out there on the internet today. I cannot stand by and allow this to continue. I will throw my hat in the game. Put me in, coach. My turn. I'm ready to play. Let's go. So if you guys have been watching all week, let's see. Actually, I've written something. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but it's at least going to give me some bullet points to keep me on track with my ADHD. By the way, I got my Lotus here. You guys like my fancy cut? Go to Silverwood. It's a water park and a theme park near you in northern Idaho. It's actually really cool. It's like Knott's Berry Farm, but cleaner and nicer. Oh my gosh. I think I have a hole in my lip. When I opened the straw, because it like folds into the cup, and I opened it, it like squirted all over the place. I was like, sweet. Awesome. Freaking sour liquid juice everywhere. Took me like 5 minutes to clean up all over the monitors. All right. What was I saying? Let me regather myself. Okay, focus. This week, the trial. If you guys have been paying attention, whether you've been watching the trial live, catching up with any of good podcasters, honest podcasters, you know who they are. I don't need to name names. Hopefully you know who they are. What you will understand is the prosecution's case literally rests on Lance Twiggs. Okay? Everything that all of the people at TPUSA, Benny Johnson, freaking Andrew and Blake and Brandon and Graham and all of them, all of those morons, they were so it's so overwhelming. Oh my gosh, Lance Twiggs just, it's so obvious. If you were to remove Lance Twiggs's interview testimony and then the things that he stated in that testimony, the text messages that he presented, the Discord chats that he presented, the burned note that he presented, you remove all that, all you have is the worst, grainiest Sasquatch photos of some young college-age Caucasian dude. That's it. It literally falls apart. If you were paying attention to the ballistic analysis experts and the DNA experts, what you'd find out is the prosecution didn't actually call the people that did the analysis. They called the SBI investigator, that Samoan girl, and then I forget the white dude's name that was up there that was cotton mouthing it up and breathing heavily into the mic. I forget his name. It's something Davis, maybe. Anyway, those people aren't experts in the field. What they did was added on to the analysis done by those labs, the places that did the analysis, whether that be FBI or ATF, whatever. And in fact, what we found out when the defense crossed, they added words to make it seem like the DNA and the ballistic results were more conclusive, like strongly. That's not a scientific term that the labs themselves use when describing their results. Okay. They simply allow the percentage to rest and speak for itself. Okay. But the thing is that other people's DNA and fingerprints were also found on all of the items that Tyler Robinson's was supposedly found on as well. Okay. And so really the only thing that puts Tyler Robinson at the scene, which it really doesn't, but on the prosecution's case, right, is these nasty, horrible, some of them not even time-stamped, so far away, the worst quality videos and photos that we've ever seen, where you can't tell who the heck it is, let alone definitively say that it is someone in like specific. Freaking Lance Twiggs said it himself, like, I mean, I can't with 100% certainty. You slept with him. You lived with him. What are you talking about? You called him love, my love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You can't tell if that's him? Oh, well, oh no, you can tell. Well, okay, please tell everyone how you can tell. His Converse. Oh, he wears a hat sometimes. He doesn't wear that hat, but he wears hats. Oh, and he typically wears sunglasses. Are they those sunglasses? I don't know, but he wears sunglasses. Oh, and he has a pair of blue jeans. He's got jeans. The guy's wearing jeans. I've never seen him wear that shirt, but he has jeans. So I'm not convinced, and neither should you. Okay. So having said that, the reason why this week went the way that it did, the defense objected to everything because it's all BS. It's all circumstantial hearsay that probably in most states wouldn't be even allowed, but in the state of Utah, because it's a preliminary, it's allowed in. Okay. And that really puts the judge in a predicament where he has to decide, like, this isn't really what the prosecution is saying it is. And now I got to decide. That's why he didn't decide today. He's got till September 1st to decide whether there's enough probable cause. If it was so overwhelming, if that video that they played on day 5 today, which I'll get to, was so overwhelming, judge would have been like, probable cause met. Let's go. Didn't happen. So what we see in force all week is all of these paid freaking morons coming out every day swearing that being in the courtroom, Donald Trump Jr., all of the names that I normally name, Jack Posobiec, Graham Allen, Brandon Tatum, all the people that were allowed seats every day, they came out in force each day saying, so overwhelming. We got to see things you didn't see. Did they? No. Today's the only time they got to see something that we didn't see. And they relished in it. They were never going to let this opportunity pass up. No way. They came out immediately. We're going to watch it and look at them. However, good thing that there were other people in there that also saw the video and said, that's not what happened at all. They're all lying to you. So, okay, so let's back up a little bit. The prosecution, I played that yesterday. I got attacked on X for it, but I was right. The prosecution did say the words, we rest our case in chief for the preliminary hearing. Okay, so when they were done entering all of their evidence, which at that point we were like, where's the mountain? Where's the 90% that could be thrown out and only 10% would remain, and Lance and Tyler Robinson would still be convicted? Never showed up. Never showed up. So they rested their case. The defense then called a couple of the actual analysts that actually did the, testing and analysis on like the DNA and the ballistics. And I thought the defense did a great job poking holes in how the prosecution presented their conclusions of the results, not the results themselves, their conclusions of the results, their personal interpretation of the results. Okay. And then the prosecution and the victim advocate lawyer, that means Erica Kirk's lawyer, all week was arguing for transparency. But here's the thing. They knew. So they're gaslighting us because it really wasn't transparency. Okay. The defense knows, okay, that the things that the prosecution and the victim representative lawyer, Erica Kirk's lawyer, is wanting to get into evidence and displayed for everyone is not actual real evidence. It's all BS that all pushes Tyler Robinson lone gunman theory. Okay. If it was strong, I think the judge would have ruled and let it in. Okay. But man, I hate it when I do this. I have a thought and then I keep going and then I lose it. Man, and then I know that you guys are all watching me, and then I just go blank. So the defense crossed pointed holes in what their conclusions were, and then, all week, Erica Kirk's lawyer and the prosecution was saying that they wanted transparency, but really they wanted a kangaroo court, and the judge ruled, 50-50. But then today, After everything was said and done, Judge Graff made a decision. Okay. Well, actually, what happened was yesterday, the written letter. So the prosecution broke the court's order not to display certain exhibits. They displayed the letter and they weren't supposed to. So the judge came down with a new ruling today and saying that today, no one would be able to view exhibits. Like the media would not be able to have their camera focused on the exhibits, which means we wouldn't be able to see the exhibits. Okay. Which didn't really matter because no new evidence was being presented today. They were referencing evidence that had already been admitted by the prosecution, and it was just these expert witnesses that were being crossed by the defense. Okay. Well, at the end of everything, it turns out we weren't done. Okay, because victim advocate, victim representative lawyer, prosecution lawyer was like, come on, Your Honor, we deserve, the court, the family deserves to see that video, that John Madden edited, enhanced, modified video, which the original video by itself shows nothing. Shows a little ant, a little Sasquatch running, jumping, and you can't discern anything specific from that video at all. Who it is, what they're doing. Do they have something in their hand? Did they take something out of their pants? You can't see anything. Okay, the Losi Center roof video. Well, the judge was like, fine. Today, at the end, we'll watch the video in court. No cameras, but everyone in court gets to view it. And that means Brandon Tatum, Jack Posobiec, Graham Allen, Erica Kirk, the parents of Charlie Kirk, but also like Tyler Robinson, his family, and then people from the public that were in there. And there was a couple that will listen to what they say they saw. Because all the TPUSA freaking robots came out in force swearing like, oh my gosh, this video was so clear. It's so clear. Who knew? Just a little zoom. Just a little zoom and a couple circles and a couple arrows, and it's all clear. You could actually tell it's Tyler Robinson. You could actually see that he had some, like a rifle down his pants. You could see it. Just a little zoom. And then you could see him assemble the rifle and then run over to the shooting position and then get down in the shooting position, the prone position, and then the line of sight was clear. And then some of them are dumb enough to say that you could see him take the shot. Some of them are that dishonest. Brandon Tatum is about 50-50 stupid and dishonest, but then he kind of recovers, and we'll get there. But other people like Brandy and Billy, they're on X. I think they used to have a show, and they have shows and stuff. They were in the courtroom. I'm referencing them because they're the only ones that I know on X that I could see that they came out stating, nope, it's pretty much the exact same video. It's zoomed in a little bit. You can't tell who it is. You still can't see the recoil. You don't see the muzzle flash. And that's true because Brandon Tatum actually ends up saying that very thing. Okay. It's crazy. He's like, you see it. And then he's like, but let me be honest. You don't actually see the muzzle flash. You don't see the recoil. What you see is, and he says Tyler Robinson, but you can't discern who it is. You see this person lay down in the prone position, and then you see the timestamp, and you see that it matches up with the time that Charlie was assassinated, 12:23 and 29 seconds. And right after the 29th second, in the 23rd minute of the 12th hour, on the 10th, he gets up and runs away. So you can logically infer or deduce that he took the shot. You can't make this stuff up. They are that evil and dishonest. And furthermore, Andrew Kolvet and Blake Neff and all of those idiots also couldn't pass up the opportunity to say that Erica was re-traumatized today. She broke down sobbing in the court. Remember, this is the woman that said, I will never watch that video. Never. But I want to see my husband in the worst possible light for the last possible time I'll ever see him. And I want to see, no, get out of the way, doctor. Thank you, but no, thank you. Get out of the way. I want to see him. I want to see what they did to my husband, but I don't want to see the video. But I want to see this video. But then when I see this video, now I'm going to be re-traumatized. I'm going to break down sobbing in court. No one's going to know if, they actually consoled one another, Erica Kirk and Charlie's mom, because the only people saying that happened is Jack Posobiec and all those idiots. But they're like, and she was crying. And can you imagine how hard it was for her that she watched her husband get assassinated again? No, you didn't. You saw a little black blur climb a railing, run out, lay down. Brandon Tatum said it himself. You don't see anything. You don't see a recoil. You don't see a muzzle flash. There's no sound, so you don't hear the sound of the rifle. You just see a person like this, lay down, wait, 12:23, 29, 12:23, 30, get up and run. That's it. And that made her break down crying. Don't worry. It's because she's an actress, a bad one, nonetheless, an actress, still the same. All right. Also, hopefully this caught you guys up on that. And that's pretty much the gist of today. You know, I mean, this whole week was us waiting the last 10 months for this mountain of evidence. 90% could be thrown out and Tyler would still be convicted. And we get here this week and we realize that all the court documents that we had read all leading up till this week already told us everything. Now we just got to see the stupid evidence, the lack thereof, the manufactured, the blurry video, the BS text messages that aren't verified who they are. It's just a photo of Lance Twiggs's phone, and it just says Tyler on it. We just have to take their word. How about this? And I'm going to bring this up. Okay, so Brandon Tatum issues a challenge in a video, and we're going to look at it. I accept, bro. I accepted his challenge. I created a post on X. I linked his video, and I said, here we go. Hopefully you don't pull an Andrew Wilson and accept to debate me and then pretend I don't exist and say that you're too important to not know who I am. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Gary Melton did the same thing. Okay. But dang it. I hate it when I do that. Go off on a tangent and then I lose what I was really going to say. Yeah, I lost that one. I usually regather it, but let me hit these super chats and we'll get right into it. All right. Okay. Toots Magoots, what up? I added the Magoots. Okay. Thank you for becoming a member today. I really appreciate it. It's Rage. Thank you for the super chat. Did it not let you type any words? I hate it when it does that. Oh, here it is. Okay. Do you think they chose do the Big Bang in Utah because the word, yes. Okay. I believe they chose Utah for a plethora of reasons. Okay. The deep ties to the CIA and the intel agencies, the LDS church, which has so much power and strength and finances and control. UVU is an arm of the LDS church and the intel agencies, and the preliminary hearing law, which is so weird. Hearsay's admitted. There's a couple other states as well, but was that going to be the first event, the first campus event on the tour, or would the next possible state that has the same bogus preliminary laws be too far down the line because Israel and TPUSA and the donors and everyone couldn't take a chance that Charlie was going to go to 2 events and answer questions about Israel. They weren't going to give him the opportunity to say anything else at all. It had to be the first event, and it had to be within the first questioner or second questioner. So and then the open carry, concealed carry laws. A lot of people were carrying that day. They're allowed to carry on the college campus. I think Erica Kirk's familial ties to UVU also played a part in rushing the approval for this campus event, which was put together within a matter of weeks instead of matter of 6 months. There's a lot of factors, but I think one of them was the fact that they could pull off what they pulled off this week with the preliminary hearing and entering in hearsay evidence that they would never present in the trial, because once you present this person in the trial, defense gets to cross-examine and destroy them. Lance Twiggs would never stand up under cross-examination. Are you kidding me? He would crumble like a little girl. The weird court law. So I never finished your question. My bad. Because of the weird court laws that they have that allow them to continue the deception during the prosecution portion in order to get their patsy convicted. Yes. Who do we got? Hey, you. Remember, she already forgave him. 2. Total staged. Yep. That was on day 11. When she had absolutely no knowledge of anything, she forgave him like that. But don't worry. She loved Charlie. Didn't need to investigate. Never saw the video. Has no clue whether that entry wound, no exit wound actually makes sense or doesn't make sense with the lone gunman 30-06 round. I just forgive him because that's how we do it here, in Arizona, in Christian, evangelical, Protestant Zionism. We just forgive people. You're absolutely cooking tonight. Every point is landing. Every fact is backed up, and you're bringing the receipts. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you. All right. So about Brandon Tatum, it'll probably come to me once I play his video. If the beginning and my opening was any indication of what tonight's going to be, buckle up. Let's freaking do this. On your way in, please don't forget, please hit the like and subscribe because I understand that life can pull you away. Little Becky could come pull on your pants and say, Mama, Daddy, I'm hungry or I need something. And then you leave without hitting the like. And then you forget because life is lifing. And then you never come back to hit the like. So just hit it now, just boop. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Brandon Tatum. Here we go.
That last video that they showed that was zoomed in, you can see it as clear as the noonday sun that he came into the facility. He climbed onto the roof. He was in a prone position. He took a shot, ran, and jumped off the roof, just like the testimony showed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was a short day today. This was the conclusion of the trial so far. The prosecution, the state rests its case here, at least for the time being. The defense had their final witness, which was a crap show, and it will be continued to September the 1st, which is where they will give both arguments, and then the judge will make his decision on probable cause. If you ask me, based on my experience doing this stuff for a very long time, there is no doubt in my mind that probable cause was established.
Then why is the judge so perplexed and troubled with the evidence that was presented? Why does he need 2.5 months to make his decision and ruling? If it was so clear, so obvious, so overwhelming, so indisputable, like you all say, how come Judge Graff didn't walk out, write up his ruling, and come back and end the week on that note?
It is unequivocal. And after the film that we saw today in the courtroom, which was only privy to the people in the courtroom and the family, he did it. He zoomed in on him. We saw him take the shot. And he jumped off the roof. I mean, and when I say we saw him take the shot, because I don't want anybody misconstruing what I'm saying, is that you can see him go into the prone position. You can't see the fire. You can't see the muzzle flash or anything, but you can compare the actual video of Charlie getting shot at the timestamp where he went in the prone position. Those two match up within seconds. And so it's very clear that a reasonable person can deduce that he took the shot at that time.
Details.
Do you think that when, after the last 10 months of the shenanigans and the BS and the gaslighting and the lying and the contradicting, that we should just deduce that, because this person that we don't know who they are, okay, they say it's Tyler, we don't know that. It's not been conclusively proven that that's who that is. In fact, I think it's been almost conclusively proven that it's not him, but that's my own opinion on that. Do you think that we should just, because this person timed it up perfectly, because you know what? In our theory, it wasn't a bullet. That person is, there for the patsy. That person's not Tyler Robinson, in my opinion, and many others. That person was there solely for all of this. To simply get captured on the camera, crawling over. They didn't need him to take the shot. That's the thing. You hear him, you don't see it. There's no audio. You don't see muzzle flash. You don't see recoil. You don't hear anything. They didn't even need that. They knew that. They just needed someone that they can have. Like if I put two Legos separate on the table in front of you, you will just on your own connect the dots and go, It either used to go together or I'm going to put it together. You just know that the 2 and 2 can make 1, right? That's what they do. They have all these different puzzle pieces and they let you put them together in your mind. Sadly, the majority of people put the wrong puzzle together. Okay? They're not good at puzzles. I am. And I'm not going to logically deduce and conclude that just because someone laid down at the exact right time and I can't see a muzzle flash, I can't see recoil, I can't hear anything, I don't see a rifle in his hand, you don't see anything in his hand. You just see someone crawl over the railing, lay down for a certain period of time, and at 12, 23, and 29 seconds, right after that, he gets up and runs. That's all you see. Brandon and Graham and Jack and Andrew and Blake want you to believe that that is actual proof, as clear as the noonday sun, undeniable, indisputable evidence that Tyler did it. And that's why I think these are the most dishonest, disingenuous, evil people I have ever seen have platforms. And guess what? Blake and Andrew, and we'll get to them, they're going to say that we are, and that we should apologize, and that we should actually pack up and stop having our own shows, that we have lost credibility. And if we want to continue to have our own shows, that we need to go through this process of reconciliation with the public and re-earn their trust. Bro, if the shoe freaking fits, bro, give me a break. All right, Brandon, let's continue with your nonsense.
From inside the courtroom after the 5-day preliminary hearing for Charlie Kirk's accused killer wrapped moments ago. Remember, just yesterday, Tyler Robinson's former roommate telling investigators Robinson confessed to killing Kirk in person and in text messages. Another dramatic moment today when surveillance video of the suspect on the roof was shown in court, but not on TV. Erica Kirk and Charlie's mother crying and hugging in court. And now we are getting new reaction from the Kirk family. We are live at the courthouse in Provo, Utah. Josh Ritter, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor, standing by. But first to Matt Fitt. Matt.
Trace, this 5-day preliminary hearing has ended. We are not getting a ruling on whether this will advance to a murder trial. And moments ago, the Kirk family released a new statement writing in part, as difficult as these last few days have been, it brings our family comfort to know that the world has witnessed the overwhelming evidence of what occurred to Charlie.
Do you want to know who wrote this? It wasn't from Charlie Kirk's parents. It was from the victim representative's lawyer, Erica Kirk's lawyer. Okay. That's who wrote this. And they can say Kirk family without lying because Erica Kirk has the last name Kirk and she is the mother of his children. And therefore she can say it comes from her family. Okay. But it didn't come there. It's not in conjunction with, Charlie's parents.
That day. Nothing will ever undo the loss of our beloved Charlie. As this case moves into its next phase, we pray that truth will continue to be heard through a process that is fair.
It was emotional. That last video that they showed that was zoomed in, you could see it as clear as the noonday sun that he came into the facility. He climbed onto the roof. He was in a prone position. He took a shot, ran and jumped off the roof, just like the testimony showed.
How crazy is that? This is his own video. Okay. So just a couple seconds ago, himself, he says, well, let me be clear. I don't want anyone to be confused. What I mean, when I say I saw him take the shot, what I mean is you don't see him take the shot. You see him climb over the railing. You see him run, then walk, then low crawl into the position. He's in the prone position. You don't see a muzzle flash. You don't see a recoil. You don't see him take the shot. What you see is he lays down for a certain period of time, and you can see the time on the video, and it matches up with the time that we know that Charlie was assassinated. So you can logically deduce that that's what that was happening, and then he gets up and runs. But then he plays his own clip of himself from earlier when he was still at the courthouse saying, yes, I saw him take the shot. I don't know how people can either be that stupid or that evil or dishonest or all of the above. All of the above.
It was emotional to see Erica have to watch that, and to have the person who killed her husband in the courtroom. It was emotional. It made me upset at the reality of this, because Charlie was a good man, just doing what God called him to do, and some person who had hardly any value to this world decided to take his life. Was very frustrating. But I am glad that the evidence is presented. Anybody with any kind of integrity that want to know the truth, they have access to see anything they want to see in this court hearing.
Except for today.
It's very clear that they got overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson did it.
Not only is the video evidence of him doing it, he admitted through text message, electronic communication to
Lance Twiggs
that he did it, why he did it, that he hid his gun, all of the things that.
We don't know the author of those texts. We don't see timestamps of some of those texts. We don't know anything. We just have to take Lance Twiggs, a schizophrenic psychopath who chased his grandmother with a knife, who his own family said, actually, he kind of fits the bill to be the person to have carried this out, not Tyler Robinson. That's whose word we're trusting. Okay. Yeah. Furthermore, what I would like to know is, before Tyler Robinson's parents had retained an attorney for Tyler, supposedly they're the ones that turned him in, that they brought him in, and that they admitted, supposedly, whether that be the Washington County Police Department, where he was brought in and surrendered to first, or when they then transferred him up to Orem or Provo. Not sure where it supposedly happened, but if that happened at any time, why isn't there a transcript of it? Why isn't that verbatim quoted and referenced by the prosecution? Why aren't they saying, so they're saying that his parents admitted that he did it, but they're not showing us anywhere that they actually have that. They don't have it in writing. They don't have it in audio. They don't have a transcript from an audio. They don't have anything. They're just saying because his parents were with him when they brought him in, that means that they admitted that he was guilty and that they turned him in, not that they accompanied him during his surrender. He willfully surrendered himself with his parents and the LDS Scoutmaster. They're not being honest about that process in which the parents accompanied Tyler to ensure his survival and safety and to have moral and emotional support for him into custody. There's no proof that they ever said or wrote or even admitted that Tyler told them that he did it, or that they think he did it. But all of these people reference that all week. We didn't see that once by the prosecution. If that existed, the prosecution would have presented it in one way, shape, or form, and they didn't.
We now know, but it's unequivocal that probable cause was established, in my personal opinion. Now, we got to go through a court process, which means that there still need to be arguments on both sides, and the judge needs to make a decision. But I think it's very clear. The defense had no articulable, defense to anything that was promoted by the prosecution.
What's crazy is they literally articulated their defense every day. Every time they cross-examined a witness, that is them articulating their defense. They were poking holes in all of the pieces of evidence, the different exhibits that were presented by the prosecution. So, like, literally, they articulated their defense of Tyler Robinson.
And for everybody that's doing the conspiracy theories,
that's me.
You have no leg to stand on. And I'm telling you right now, you guys, these people are lying. They're flat out lying.
Okay.
That guy, it's a guy that does social media. He's a former Green Beret. just flat out.
Oh, I think he's talking about Valhalla, huh? I couldn't, when I first listened to this, I was like, he's not talking about Gary. Gary's one of them. Who was he talking about? I was like, no, I don't think it was Mitch Snow. Was Mitch Snow a Green Beret, or was he 10th Mountain Division or something like that? I think he's talking about Valhalla, but yeah, we all are saying that the evidence doesn't point in the direction that you guys are all saying it does. Yeah.
I lied on his platform. And I would challenge anybody in the United States of America and abroad.
Pick me.
If you want to debate whether or not probable cause was established, and you want to debate that these conspiracy theories are all hogwash,
I do.
I will challenge anybody.
Thank you.
To a debate on this topic.
Okay.
Because I'm so sick of watching people manipulate people.
That makes two of us, but I'm looking at you, kid.
Because they want conspiracies to be true. There is no evidence to any of these conspiracies. People are just saying things without verification whatsoever.
Nope.
They have video testimony from the parents.
They didn't present that. There's no video testimony presented by the parents. What are you actually talking about, Brandon Tatum?
They got testimony from Lance Twiggs.
They do have testimony from Lance Twiggs. We don't believe Lance. We think Lance probably fits the bill for having pulled this off and then pinned it all on Tyler.
Tyler Robinson turned himself in. They
willfully surrendered because he didn't want to get shot by the police.
They have video surveillance footage. They have DNA of him with the gun, with the 30-06 cartridge. Now we know what 30-06 Winchester round it was.
So here, a couple things. When they couldn't directly link that round back to that specific rifle, what they also did when they said it came from a 30 caliber class of weapons, there were 30 weapons listed in that class. One was a pistol. Actually, there was a couple pistols. And then a lot of them were rifles. Okay. Only 2 were bolt action. Only 2 out of the 30 were bolt action. Okay. And that means that bullet could have been fired from any one of those 30. That's what the results of the ballistic test showed. That it came from one of these 30 weapons. Okay. But they want you to just believe them. Okay. The DNA didn't conclusively say, because they can't. That's what cross-examination showed when the defense crossed the actual expert in the DNA and the ballistics. It showed that they can't definitively say for certainty that it was Tyler. And they couldn't rule out that there were other contributors to the sample, meaning that Lance Twiggs and a couple other people's DNA was also found on some of the pieces of evidence and fingerprints as well, which makes sense. If a lot of people were in that house, living there, frequenting there, coming in and out, but they want you to believe, well, no, because Tyler's was one of the 5, that means his is the one that did everything. Yeah, I'm not going there with that. Okay, I knew Utah is an open carry state, but didn't realize you could carry on campus, college campus, okay? Not high school campus. It's because you can't restrict adults from being able to carry in a state like that. All right. So interesting tidbit. Thanks for the info. New to the channel, will subscribe. Thank you. The one who wonders. I like that. That's a good one. Thank you. Welcome to the team, my man. Or woman. I shouldn't assume. The one who wonders could be either or. But yeah, so because it's in the state of Utah and the gun laws that they have there, and it's a college campus, right? And it's an open campus. It's not a private campus. And you heard the different SBI investigators and detectives like Hall and the guy that preceded him, Bradley or Brad, whatever his name was, the guy that was on top of the Hall of Flags, state that, yeah, students, as long as they're over the 18 and they have the legal right to carry whatever it is, the process in Utah, they're allowed to carry on campus. That's why so many people were carrying that day. Okay. Which, if the security team, how short-sighted is that? Okay. They knew, they had to have known the laws in Utah. They've been to UVU before. Okay. And yes, that, like, look, you know, Charlie was pro Second Amendment, as we all should be, but with any credible threats and knowing that so many of any haters would be there, you think that they would have had magnetometers. You think they would have had wands. You think they would have made that event specifically a no carry event. Only plainclothes police officers that were in the crowd, security team members, and police officers should have been able to carry on the campus that day. Or at least on the campus, because even further away, even if you're not in the direct vicinity of the event, like somebody else at a distance could have carried a weapon on the campus. And it should have just been, in order for his team to guarantee Charlie's safety, they should have said no guns except for law enforcement and security team that day, or we don't do the event, or we do it indoors where we can actually say no guns except in, those that are approved to carry. Another big failure in the security team of Integrity Security Solutions, Brian Harple and Dan Flood, in my opinion. Buffoons, all of them. Love your show, Matt. Thank you, Pendulora. Told you I'm really bad at that. All right, let's continue with Officer Tater Tot. Did you guys throw any? We have custom emojis in the live chat that we've made as a community here. Somebody throw Officer Tater Tot up there in the live chat as we listen to Tater Tot himself out.
It wasn't a full metal jacket. It was like a light round it's like I don't know, it disintegrates more easily than a regular full metal jacket round. And so and many people in the firearm industry, now that they see the actual round that was alleged used, which verified it was in the gun with his DNA on it.
No. So here's a couple things. The round, I can't show it. I found out my video yesterday got temporarily ad restricted, like not fully demonetized, but partially, because my thumbnail had the actual exhibit evidence of the fired casing, and it had a blurred image of the rifle. And then in the show, I was showing the different evidence exhibit photos. So I can't show what I'm about to say, but it's on X and you guys can look it up yourself if you know what type of round that was supposedly used that day, the one that they say was retrieved from Charlie's neck. People have done extensive tests on this exact round, and it's not what Brandon Tatum is saying. It doesn't disintegrate. It's called the mushroom round, okay? It's known as the mushroom round because it mushrooms out. And that's what you saw if you looked at the photos from the case this week, from the trial this week. The round, the big piece, the one main fragment of the round mushroomed out, okay? And what it does is it does slow it down. It creates more drag than, say, like a hollow point or a full metal jacket or something like that. But I watched on X and I went and I looked up people that did ballistic firing tests of this round, and it freaking goes through everything. It went through like 2 ballistic gel dummies with bones inside and through the wood and completely tore apart like 2 4x4s behind it. It goes through everything. Charlie's neck wouldn't have stopped it. Charlie's spine wouldn't have stopped it either. Okay. This round is not intended to disintegrate. It's intended to do damage. It's intended to mushroom, create, and to slow down. It's used for hunting and things like that. You can look it up. I don't have the exact name of the round. It might come up in one of the other videos that we see, but Brandon Tatum is lying when he says that this round is intended to disintegrate and that now that we know the round, it makes sense that we didn't see an exit wound. Lie. Go look it up. I can't play it. I stole my husband's Jeep. What up? You better return it. We like our Jeeps. I got a Jeep. Okay, DNA experts said the DNA from the trigger showed signs of degradation. Yep. How quick can DNA degrade? Maybe that DNA was older. Gun not fired that day. Yeah, the gun wasn't fired that day. Okay. It wasn't. We know from, well, okay, whatever you want to take away from Lance Twiggs' testimony, there's probably a little bit of truth sprinkled in with all the BS. Okay. At one point, Lance Twiggs said that Tyler was preparing to go shooting and hunting and fishing with his grandfather and his dad, which would make sense why he would have rounds, why he would have targets that he had recently practiced on. Okay. Why Lance Twiggs would see this as the perfect opportunity to frame him. All right. Wait. So if this is Tyler's grandfather's rifle, which I don't know how they can show the pictures that they showed, which show a modern hunting rifle, not an authentic original 1940 Mauser 98. Every photo that I looked up from that rifle, it's beautiful. It's like wood. It's from the 1940s. It's not composite material and all black like the one that they're showing us. But anyway, if Tyler had that in his condo and he had rounds in there because he was going to the range, practicing to go hunting with his grandfather and his father, then yes, there'd be DNA, there'd be fingerprints on the rifle and on those rounds. But that doesn't mean those rounds and that rifle was carried on to that campus on that roof on that day, loaded into that gun by that kid and fired by that finger on the 10th at 12:23 and 29 seconds. It doesn't mean that. And the fact that the DNA was degraded shows, in my opinion, that the fingerprints and the DNA probably came from an earlier point in the year than September 10th. Not only that, how the FBI found the rifle. Okay. It was swept initially by the local police, not found. Then they had bomb sniffing dogs, which also can smell ammunition and gunpowder residue. And especially if a gun was fired recently, like within the last anywhere from like 2 to 8 hours, the dog would have got out the car, ran straight over to that freaking gun and been like, ding, there it is. There it is. Can I have my toy? I found it. Good boy, good boy. Doesn't happen. They sweep that whole area, find nothing. Then the FBI shows up. Third sweep. The FBI finds nothing. Then the FBI go over to 2 local police that are rookies. Between the 2 of them, have less than a year together in the force. And the FBI go, yeah, I know the first sweep, they didn't find anything. The bomb sniffing dogs, they didn't find anything. We didn't find anything. But how about you 2 rookies? How about you just go look right over there? And what do you know? 4th time's the charm. And they found it. So no. I don't believe that it was fired that day because the freaking dogs would have found it right away. Give me a break.
That it was highly possible that when Charlie was shot with that round, that it would disintegrate and fragment in his body, just like it did.
Nope.
They lying about there being another round, like Valhalla said, which he's a complete idiot, saying that there was another live round on the same roof as Tyler Robinson. That was not true.
Wait, that actually is true. Well, not as Tyler Robinson. Well, Tyler Robinson wasn't on any roof that day. But it did come out in the trial this week. And I think Brandon is probably misrepresenting what Valhalla is saying. I don't really watch Valhalla anymore, but I don't know that he would like mess that up because people easily would fact check that. I've been watching the trial, and what came out was a 223 unfired round was found on, I think, like the Sorensen Center roof, which is just the adjacent roof, or it might have been the roof behind. It said like, what was the name? I think I forget the name of the building. It wasn't the Losi Center, but they found an unfired 223 round on a different roof. And how they explained that away, don't worry, Detective Hall, the lead investigator on this, didn't actually investigate that at all. The local police or the FBI just told him, oh, don't worry, that was accounted for. Some local law enforcement had one in the chamber because his weapon was already in the ready position, which is one in like fully loaded, one in the chamber, cocked forward. And he had to unload it and expelled the round, and then he just forgot it on the ground. And that's how they accounted for it. But this guy didn't go ask any specific officer if that officer could verify that he did it. They just took the word of the person retelling the telephone game story. Okay. So yeah, nothing was found on the Losi Center roof except for a freaking screwdriver, but an actual live round, which was unfired, was found on a different roof, and they did not investigate. They did not keep that in evidence. They did not fingerprint it. They did not test it for DNA. They just accepted the other police officer's secondhand story that some other police officer unreadied his weapon and it expelled it and it was left behind. Okay. So yeah, other people might logically deduce that maybe Charlie was hit with a smaller caliber round. I don't think that, but I think it's more plausible than Tyler Robinson was on the Losi Center and shot the Mauser 98 with the 30-06 and there was no exit wound. So Brandon Tatum's a moron. I hope he accepts my challenge. Please accept my challenge. It will be so much fun educating you. I'll do it respectfully.
That is a lie from the pit of hell, and for that fool to watch the whole thing and come up with that conclusion is disingenuous.
No, it's not.
The round was on a separate building that didn't even have line of sight to Charlie Kirk. And
I don't know that. I can go back and find out if one of you guys know what roof was stated as having been the roof where they found this round, then we can actually look it up on Google Earth and see if that roof had line of sight or not. I'm not taking Brandon Tatum's word for it.
Round was accounted for. You can go and now we know with all the evidence presented that it was a 30 class weapon, which a 30 class round, which is a 30 caliber. So it couldn't have been a 223 or 5.56. Okay. So
yeah, if that round actually for sure came out of Charlie's body, which I don't know that we could even trust the autopsy and the medical examiner. I mean, so much weird stuff happened in the months and weeks leading up to the assassination. People were transferred. Brand new department heads were instated in the FBI. A new CFO of Timpanogos. This guy, the surgeon, what's his name? Lee Trotter, DuPont, is he was a visiting surgeon. He lives in Idaho and he flies out there and he just happened to be there that day. The Google search trends show that people were seemingly being Google searched in DC and in Tel Aviv in the months leading up to the assassination. How did anyone know who Tyler Robinson or Lance Twiggs were, or the CFO's name, or Timpanogos or UVU, or all the other names and places that were Google searched in DC and Tel Aviv? So it's totally plausible. I don't know what Brandon's talking about. He's a freaking moron. Brandy said body cam was not on when gun was found. Yeah, well, Brandy's not the okay. Look, I got nothing to say about her, but what I'm saying is if you watch the trial itself, which we showed it, I mean, that was day one, right? That was the first witness that was on the stand. So I went over this in detail that the cop that was on top of the Hall of Flags, okay, and he's all in the photos from George McClintock Wilson as being up there. And in the original court documents, the report says that right after the shot was fired, he heard exactly where it came from, knew it was a rifle, looked over to the Losi Center roof and was like, aha, line of sight. And he ran straight over there. But then he gets on the stand and says, that's not exactly what happened. Okay. That cop's body cam died 27 minutes after being activated. These body cams, they get charged the night before, okay? And they can hold a battery for 14 to 18 hours, okay? They are dormant until they get activated by the cop when they're engaging with a citizen or when an event or a crime is happening and they need it on. Okay. That means the body cam was checked out that morning when he came onto his service, time that day, and he clocked in for his duty session, got his body cam on, didn't activate it because nothing was going on. He's just sitting up there. But the moment everything went down, he activated it. And then 27 minutes later, it just went off. He doesn't actually know what happened. When he was cross-examined by Catherine Nestor, he goes, I don't know. It might have just died. You didn't turn it off, did you? No. Well, they're supposed to hold charges for much longer than 27 minutes. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Right when I got up there, it just died. Nah. Yeah, this is part of the mountain of evidence that the prosecution and all of these TPUSA morons say is so overwhelming and obvious. The only thing that is obvious to me is blatant disregard for the truth, for the laws. They're dishonest, they're corrupt, and they're framing, Tyler, in my opinion, in my opinion. All right, let's continue with Brandon Tater Tot Tatum.
That's pretty much what I wanted to say. I'm glad that Charlie's going to get some justice, and everybody out here pushing conspiracy theories and want to work with the defense should be ashamed of themselves, and they cannot say in good faith that they're supportive of Charlie Kirk. Supporting Charlie Kirk is supporting Charlie Kirk's wife.
Lies. Okay. I am 100% supportive of Charlie Kirk, period. End of story. And me being able to debate him, he'll be able to find that out. Because I actually followed Charlie, watched him, listened to him, looked up to him, respected him every day. And no, just because someone's married to someone doesn't mean I have to trust them, okay? Because a high percentage of murders, when someone is married, a high percentage end up being the spouse. They have some of the most motive, means, and opportunity, okay? And one of the first things you do after someone is murdered and they have a spouse is you look at who benefited the most, because whoever benefited the most had seemingly the most motive. And you can also reverse that logic and go, who had the most to lose if he wasn't murdered? And it happens to be all the same people that benefited the most also had the most to lose if Charlie stayed alive. Okay? So no, just because she's the widow, just because she's the mother of his children, just because she has his last name, doesn't mean I have to blindly just accept her and believe her and support her. That's a lie. That's a lie. It's a lie. Boney Babs, Cliff. Oh, it's a lie. What movie is that? Remember, always a Christmas movie. Always a Christmas movie. Let's see. Let's see if someone can get it. We'll continue to listen to Tater Tot.
That's how this stuff works. That man loved his wife. You don't see a text message. You don't see a post. You don't see a video. You don't see nothing would indicate that Charlie Kirk didn't love Erica with all his heart.
Hey, Tater Tot. I think you got a bunch of taters up in that brain of yours, okay? Because here's the thing. Guess what? Guess what, bro? The FBI and the local law enforcement turned over Charlie's phone to the widow without doing any sort of analysis on it. Just gave it to her. And then the widow lied, caught lying about a text. Candace had the receipt, called her out on it, and then she was like, oh, whoa. I didn't know you meant a WeChat or a what's up chat message. I thought you said text messages. He didn't say that in a text message. He said that in a different app, messaging app. But he did say it. Yeah. And you knew that he said it You just knew it was in that app and not in a text message. Okay, so you lied. And this woman that has lied and been caught lying time and time again has custody of the phone that no law enforcement agency looked into and analyzed the contents therein. And we're supposed to believe that because no text message has been released by Erica, why would Erica release a text message herself from Charlie and his phone saying, I want to divorce her. I think she's working for Israel. I think she's my handler. I think she might kill me. She's not going to release any of that, you freaking moron. The lack of the presence of a text message in the public doesn't prove that the text message doesn't exist, you freaking idiot. Especially if the text message does exist, why would she release it, you dumb dummy dum dum? Me dum dum need some gum gum. Me Brandon Tatum in my tum tum tater tatums.
You have no evidence. You have no evidence whatsoever. Not a text, not a message, not a leaked video, nothing that would suggest that Erica Kirk did not love Charlie Kirk with all her heart. You have no evidence. And with that being said, if you love Charlie, you support Charlie Kirk, then you should support his wife.
Gaslighting son of a gun, dude. Gaslighting son of a gun. Emotional manipulation son of a gun. No, that's not what that means, bro. That's not what that means, tater tot. Okay? Just because Charlie was assassinated before he could publicly say anything negative about Erica doesn't mean that something doesn't exist in his journal that she has that we'll never see. But she likes to release letters and personal journal entries where he's like gushing over her, which I bet he did. I bet he 100% loved Erica. I don't know if he loved her all the way up until the end, because we definitely know a priest was called to was out to dinner with them, was called to the house, went out to dinner with them. We read that article that Erica gave to the New York Times just 8 days after the assassination, where she quotes this encounter, says that it was that he came to pray over Charlie because Charlie was so concerned about the threats from the crazy leftists, even though we played Charlie in his own words on March 2025 at the 10X conference when he goes, crazy leftists? Nah, I pay no mind to those crazy purple-haired jihadists. It's the people inside the inner circle, people that lied to me, deceived me, betrayed me. Those are the ones that get my attention. So no, Charlie wasn't paying any mind to some stupid Pinterest Jezebel hex that was bought online. He knew that he was covered by the blood of Jesus and that he had God on his side. He's not worried about some stupid online hex that some moron purchased for 10 cents. Rubbing a chicken foot against their face. So then why was the priest actually called? Well, Barron has it on good authority, and so did Candace Owens, that there was issues within the marriage. And I believe it. And I also believe it because the lie that Erica told about the night before, that Charlie, being an adult grown man, good husband, loving father with 2 kids under the age of 4, was supposedly so oblivious to what he was doing the night before that he's up in the kitchen like banging pots and pans around, slamming microwave doors, opening fridge doors, dropping bottles, like just making ruckus. He was just so excited. He was hungry. He woke us all up. BS. BS. That woman was in there with him and they were arguing. That would wake up their daughter, Gigi. Daddy making noise in the kitchen, number one, wouldn't be enough, let alone Charlie wouldn't even do that. I mean, a good husband isn't up in the kitchen late at night just freaking totally oblivious, slamming stuff around. You don't want to wake the kids up. You know how hard it is to get a 3-year-old and an infant to bed? You know how important it is to get sleep when you have 2 kids under the age of 3. You think a grown man is going to be like, just got the kids to bed. Now I'm going to go and make a bunch of noise and wake them up. Shut up. Once my kids were in bed and I was still awake, I was like, you know, in the kitchen. I was like shutting the microwave door, like, please don't make noise. Please don't make noise. I was like using paper plates and like setting things down super softly, like, no, you're not in there just like dang, 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 dang. So why would Erica have been woken up? What could have woken up Gigi from a dead sleep in her own room? Mom and dad arguing. 100%. What could have made Gigi so distraught that she couldn't fall back asleep in her own bed, and could account for why Charlie didn't sleep in the bed with Erica, why Erica would say that she thought Charlie would get better sleep in Gigi's bed? A 6'5" grown man is going to get better sleep in a toddler bed. Shut up. You're stupid. The only thing that can account for all of that is that they got in a fight after Charlie had that Zoom call meeting with Rabbi Wolicki, Josh Hammer, Frank Turek, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, and they were pressuring him. One last plead to return to the Zionist side. Please, Charlie, do it for us. Do it for you. Do it. You never know what might happen, man. You never know. And then he comes out of that meeting, sends a text to Dan Flood, Frank Turek, Andrew Colvett, and says, I'm pretty sure they're going to kill me. They would have you believe he meant crazy leftists. I would have you believe he meant crazy Zionists. And I would think Andrew Colvett, Dan Flood, and Frank Turek would send that message to Erica. Or they already had some sort of Israeli tech software on Charlie's phone, and they were able to see it the moment he sent it. And she got the notification, and they told her, last shot, last try, you're going to try to get him to turn around. And then he's in the kitchen making dinner. She comes out and tries to appeal to him to just take the money from Bibi. Just stop going hard on the Jews in Israel, please. For us, for me, for your kids, for the sake of the organization, for this organization that you've spent the last 13 years building, please just do it. Sell your soul. Jeopardize your integrity. And he said, I expected this from them. I didn't think I'd get that from you. I'm going to sleep in the other room tonight. And that's why when I leave tomorrow morning, I'm not going to kiss you. I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm not going to say I love you. I'm going to walk in quietly, grab my necklace and ring, put it on, and leave. In my opinion, that's the only thing that makes sense. All right, let me get to this. Someone needs to ask Talmud Tatum, Don Jr., Blake, Andrew, etc., why they are only talking about Erica and feel bad for the widow, but say nothing about Charlie's parents. And to feel bad for the parents just shows that this is all a show for Erica. Yeah, remember, she's an emotional asset, right? She's an emotional asset. Don't forget, she's an emotional asset. The other thing is, I said this the other day, the courtroom is set up not two separate sides. There's not a set of seating for the prosecution and a set of seating for the defense. It's one row, and then there's one section, and then the rows that go back. Limited seating. Erica sitting next to the parents was just the way that it had to happen, not because they were together. They never once walked in together. They never once walked out together. We never once saw them holding one another, talking to one another. We never once saw a joint statement from both of them. Nothing. Just Erica's lawyer produced a Kirk family statement. Do we have any guarantee that it was from the parents as well? No, we don't. It says just Kirk family. And they can get away with that because she's got the last name Kirk and she's got the kids. So technically it is the Kirk family. He didn't speak for all three of them. He was her lawyer, the victim representative, Erica Kirk. So yeah, I don't think that they were united in any way, shape, or form. And we have to believe Graham and freaking Jack and Brandon that they were crying on one another's shoulder, that they were holding each other while this was all going down. That when they would take breaks in the court and they would go back to this other room, oh, they were talking, they were they were just together. We don't trust them. How have they not figured that out yet? Hi, Matt. Question. Do you think Ben Shapiro mentioned his security team was in talks with Charlie Kirk's security team to get ahead of the phone logs being released in court? Go Max. Whose phone logs are being released in court? Did you hear that during the trial, someone, either the prosecution or the defense is wanting to release you mean in the lawsuit? The lawsuit between Brian Harple and Candace Owens, that the phone logs might get released in that court in Tennessee? I mean, sometimes I don't know if they're just that stupid or they're that brazen. I don't know, on the same day that Ben Shapiro admitted that Charlie Kirk's security team called his security team while en route to the hospital. Not before, not after they delivered Charlie, en route. That means it was Justin or Dan Flood. Because supposedly Rick Cutler's holding on to Brian Harple, and Brian Harple is putting 36 feet of gauze into Charlie's wound. And then Frank Turek is in the back saying Hail Marys the whole time out loud while simultaneously doing chest compressions and giving mouth-to-mouth to Charlie while he's still talking and praying out loud. So who could have called Ben's team? Could it have been the one that actually does have ties to Israel, Dan Flood? Dan Flood does have ties. And at the same time, that same day, Gary Meltdown and Dana the Wega announced on their shows that they were watching a live stream of the event and watched Charlie get assassinated live. I don't know what the purpose of these statements are. And then on that same show, Jeremy Boring says, oh, and I just happened to be at a steak restaurant with the owner of Ben Shapiro's security team at that exact moment. Man, this is like 1 degree of separation with all these people. I don't know the purpose of these statements. I don't know why they would freely divulge these statements. I don't know if they're so stupid or they just know that there's nothing you can do about it. I can say whatever I want because I'm protected by this administration who's protected by Israel. So good luck. Have fun. Kick rocks.
And you ain't got, and nobody has evidence that she did anything wrong in this situation other than you think she's awkward.
Nope. She lied multiple times. And she's awkward. But she lied multiple times.
Because she had leather pants on.
No, that's not it.
I want to cuss and scream and threaten people sometimes when it comes to this stuff, but I'm not because I'm a good Christian man. What's my question there? I think we got a question. You guys have a freedom to ask a couple questions right here. It says, were you confronted by conspiracy theorists while outside the court or while in Utah? No, nobody coming to me. And if they want to confront me, let me not say that.
Don't say it.
Nobody confronted me.
Okay.
Thangive goodness they didn't for their sake.
Oh, so you are
quite honest.
So you are going to say it. Don't let me say that. But then I'm going to I'm going to, give a veiled threat that if they did, they would have got what was coming to them. Officer Tater Tot probably packs and carries.
I think there was some weirdos out there. I saw a video of somebody that was online that I thought I saw at the courthouse. That's a weirdo. And if you following any of these people that say that at the courthouse and they tell you something contrary to what I'm saying, they're lying. You can't listen to them.
They're lying. You're not lying? All right, let's go here. All right. Well, let's start with this one, actually. All right. All right. So here we have Brandy Siciliani, who was in the courtroom. All right. I was in the courtroom today. There is no high quality zoomed in footage showing anyone taking a shot. The video shown is the same distance as the footage of Tyler, Eagle Boy, jumping off the roof shown in this screenshot. Look how little he is. Little. You can't see nothing. I have no idea why people are claiming otherwise. They know the video isn't going to be released publicly. So they're misrepresenting what was actually shown in court. Yep, 100%. 100%. Now let's go to Graham Allen, who calls out Brandy.
Okay, let me start off. This person is a part of Candace cult. She's an idiot, along with all of these other people that are now saying that the video did not show what we all say it shows. It's because they live under this concept that that person is not Tyler Robinson. The video zoomed in clearly shows the individual getting into the prone position, the timestamps of exactly when Charlie was shot, that individual taking the shot, getting...
Wait, that individual taking the shot? Hold on. I'm not going to rewind it. I'll just show Tater Tot's face from the video where he said himself, it does... What the heck, bro? Of course on a day like today. Hold on. Do not go anywhere. I can do this quickly. All right, I'm here. All right, hold on. Well, let me make this big real quick. You know, what can I say? You know, there's just, life is life. All right, but I can do this quickly. I can roll with it. I don't get, you know, shucking by it. So in this video, Brandon Tatum says himself, he goes, and I'm just going to restate what he says. You can clearly see in this video, Tyler Robinson taking the shot. And then he goes, well, what I mean, let me be clear. I don't want anyone to be confused. You can't actually see him take the shot. What you see is a zoomed in footage from the same thing that we all saw, which was like little Sasquatch. You see him climb over. You see him crouch down after running out to the position, then get in the prone position, and then you just see him lay there. Brandon Tatum himself said you don't see a muzzle flash, you don't see a recoil, there's no audio, so you don't hear a gunshot. All you see is him laying down, and the time, 12:23:29, and then at 12:23:30, he gets up and runs. That's it. Brandon Tatum said it himself. Now you have Graham Allen saying, you do see him take the shot. We're going to watch Jack Posobiec lie. We're going to watch Benny Johnson lie. We're going to watch some mainstream news woman in a yellow dress lie. Okay? Brandy and Billy were in there, and hopefully there's other people that will soon come out as well and say, you can't see nothing. I mean, but we have Brandon Tatum. He said it yourself. All you see is the person lay down, and you see the time, and then you can logically deduce that that's when Charlie was assassinated. So therefore, you're a moron, Brandon. And these guys are just liars. All right, let me see. We got some ones. Tim Pool reckons his team was talking to Charlie Kirk's team too. Yeah, I know. I saw that. I just can't play Tim. I can't pull myself together to ever show that guy on this show at all. You know, Clint Russell, Liberty Lockdown, used to be friends with him. This week, Tim Pool attacked him. Liberty Lockdown did his own, show on it. I let him take care of Tim Pool. I can't. They're just all a bunch of wackos. Tim, I like Clint Russell at Liberty Lockdown. I can't even look at Tim, listen to his voice. I have to watch all these ugly people's faces and hear their, nails on a chalkboard voices every day. I can't add another to the list. Please don't do that to me. Don't request that I watch Tim Pool. I'm taking enough frags for everybody, all right? Mystic, thank you for the 5 Black Line Brief memberships. You're the best. We got a new member as well. Candy Warner. Welcome to the team, Candy. And then we got Punished with Truth. What up? Let's get Matt to 20,000 before the judge rules. He deserves it. Go Max. Officer Tater Tot is the stone cold weirdo. He needs to zip it. Yeah, well, if I have anything to do with it and he accepts my acceptance of his challenge to debate anyone on this side, if he's honest, which I mean, we know he's not, but I mean, it was a public call out. So hopefully he's got the cojones just to do it. Andrew Wilson didn't have the cojones just to do it. So who knows? We'll see. But we'll have our day. Real Mary Blonde, member for 1 month, proud to support Matt. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your support, Real Mary Blonde. All right, let's get back to Graham Allen. Hopefully no more interruptions in the service.
Yeah, running off, jumping off the thing. These are the same people that are spreading the lie that the prosecution has no video evidence of the person taking the shot. When they took an out of context clip and where the judge was simply asking, is there any footage of someone taking a shot? Because he wanted to be able to alert the family members. People like this person cannot be trusted.
So I don't think, let's see. Let me go here real quick. All right. Hopefully it doesn't do this. Now let's listen to this moron.
The Tyler Robinson hearing has adjourned for the day and for the entire hearing at the noon hour today. The defense finished with their final DNA witness from the ATF. After that, the judge allowed the family to view, without it being broadcast, the zoomed-in surveillance video from Utah Valley University. The quality was surprisingly high, a lot more detail you could see of the man that is reportedly Tyler Robinson making his way through campus, up and down the stairs, into the parking garage, and even zoomed in on the roof where you can see the man who is reportedly Robinson lying down into that prone position before the shots were fired. As that came up on that video.
So at least she's honest enough to not say that the video shows him taking the shot. She said it shows him lying down in the prone position minutes before the shot was fired. That should tell you everything you need to know. Also, there is a video from the court that was clipped. I just don't know where it is right now, where the judge is talking to the prosecution. That's the video that Graham is referencing right now. And the judge wanted to be able to warn the family if the video they're about to play shows Tyler, Eagle Boy, taking the shot. And the prosecutor says, no, it doesn't. So you don't have a video of someone taking the shot. No, you don't. You have a video, a bad quality video of Eagle Boy climbing the railing, running, laying down, and then getting and running again. And that's basically what that lady in the orange dress just said. Renita, Graham's hair plus Blake's hair equals still partly bald. True. Renita is one of our mods and a resident comedian of the Black Line Brief community live chat. Tune in for fun jokes from Jim Carrey and Renita and many others. All right, let's continue with Graham Schmam. Wait, what did I call him? Graham Grown Man Baby, or Grown Man Baby Graham Allen, something like that. You guys can refresh my memory what I called him, because he literally looks like a grown man baby.
They work with Candace Owens. They believe Candace Owens.
Oh my gosh. You know what he looks like? I just got it. From Rugrats. You know the twins in the show Rugrats? You know the twins, and they have the hair that does that from the show Rugrats? That's Graham Allen. That's where I knew I recognized him. Grown man baby Graham Allen he was one of the twins in the show Rugrats. Man, I never forget a face. What do we got? Joe Filicetti. Did I do that right? You saying you won't pay Tim Pool deserves a super chat in itself. Thank you, Matt. There's better video footage of me walking on the moon than Tyler taking the shot. That's good, bro. Yeah, I agree. There's no good footage of anyone taking any shot, let alone Tyler Robinson on the Losi Center roof taking any shot. And you heard it himself from Brandon Tater Tot, Officer Tatum, and the lady in the orange dress. It's just a person in black running and laying down and then pausing and then getting up and running. That's all you see. All right. All right, let's finish with grown man baby.
Witch of the coven. These people are no different. They're brain dead. They're lying to you because their lies are all falling apart in real time. So they're making their money while they can. The video will come out. None of us are afraid.
You want to know what's crazy? You don't make money on X. You make a bit of money. Okay. I have friends that have much bigger following on X, and they've told me like what they make in a month, and it's like $60 from like a bunch of posts that go viral. You don't make good money on X. And I mean, Brandy and Billy don't really make content that much on YouTube anyway. So her doing this post on X isn't making any money at all. It's so stupid.
Afraid of it coming out. This person will be.
No, you will be. Let's go back to Tater Tot.
Because they're lying to you, manipulating you. Are there usually no closing arguments in preliminary hearing? Well, the hearing got continued to September the 1st. So the closing arguments will be on September the 1st. So technically they rested their case, but the arguments that they're going to make has been continued to September the 1st. So there's no closing arguments in this particular hearing because it was continued to September the 1st. On September the 1st, they would give their closing arguments, the defense would give their argument, and then there would be, I believe, a brief rebuttal. And then that'll be the end, and the judge will make his own decision. Just so you guys know, all the evidence that was put into evidence, the judge will review, even if it wasn't public. Like there was some items of evidence that was redacted and different things like that the public didn't have a chance to see.
Not even you in the courtroom, which is what TPUSA, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, Graham Allen, Jack Posobiec, and Officer Tatum would have you believe that somehow they were witness to evidence that we, the public, weren't. That's not true. There was evidence that wasn't published at all in the courtroom. It was only published to the two teams, the prosecution and the defense, and to the judge's computer. So anything that was published in court for those in the audience to see was published to all of us as well at home, except for the last day, today, after the judge's ruling, after the prosecution broke the court's order and they published, and the media got to see the note yesterday. The judge ruled that today no one would get to see any exhibits, even though none were actually shown. It was just cross-examination and a couple witnesses that the defense brought up. And then the very only, like really the only piece of evidence that was really shown today was the video evidence at the end of the day. So that's literally the only piece of evidence that people in the courtroom got to see that we didn't get to see. Everything else was just published to the prosecution, defense, and the judge's computer. So Brandon Tatum and all of them acting like they got to see stuff that we didn't get to see, they're lying. Good thing there was people on our side in the courtroom this week that were able to come out and be like, no one got to see anything. And then thank God there were people there today that got to see that video and go, that's not what we saw. We pretty much saw the same video. It was zoomed in a little, but you didn't get to see anything clear. Not at all. Joe Filicetti just had to say you were spot on with my last name. Oh, cool. No, you're good, man. You can throw a super chat anytime. I'll stop interrupting the video now. Sits in corner and shuts up. You're good, bro. Don't worry about it. All right, let's continue.
Well, the judge had a chance, is the evaluator of the evidence, and he had a chance to see it, even though the public didn't. So just so you know, all of that stuff was put in the evidence. Okay, let me see. Hold on a second. All right, how draining was this week for you on a scale of 1 to 10? How tired are you? Well, it was probably like a 6 or 7. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, of course, I played college football. I was a police officer working crazy shifts doing SWAT. And so I've obviously had more draining days than just sitting in the courtroom, but mentally, emotionally, it's pretty draining. I say it's a 6 or 7 on the scale. I got a lot of energy because I'm still young, but
The only reason why I'm playing it is because he's about to say something.
mentally, it is very draining to sit there because it's not like you're just sitting there and it's happening. I'm watching, I'm observing, I'm paying attention to every word that's being said. And I also have to deal with the emotions of realizing that I'm sitting at a trial where my friend Charlie was murdered. And I'm sitting next to his widow and his mama and daddy who have to suffer through every minute.
Every linguistic, I don't know, tactic that they use is intentional. He couldn't say Erica Kirk. He couldn't say Charlie Kirk's wife. He had to say widow. He couldn't say mom and dad. He couldn't say their names, mommy and daddy. They want to overemphasize like the drama and the pain of all of this, which I actually 100% agree with the parents and their pain. But I don't agree with Brandon capitalizing on that and overemphasizing things like the widow, mommy and daddy. Charlie didn't call them mommy and daddy. He's a grown man. What are you talking about, dude? Why are you calling him mommy and daddy? That's weird. You're supposedly a grown man.
Of this. And it's and that part is draining. You know, I feel bad. You know, Erica watched that video, you know, of it really encapsulated this whole trial, watching that video that zoomed and circled and made it very apparent that Tyler Robinson, what he did. And, you know, people were just going out and saying they have no evidence to him on the roof, you know, firing a weapon. Okay. Now, you know, you can't trust those people.
You yourself said there's no video evidence of him firing the weapon. Did you forget? You just said at like minute 3 that you actually don't see him firing the weapon. You don't see muzzle flash. You don't see recoil. You don't hear anything because there's no audio. All you see is him lay down. 12:23, 30 seconds. He gets up and runs. Did you forget that you said it yourself?
All right. Any other questions? Let's see. Do you think this will go to trial? If so, how long did that happen? Well, I want him to get put to death, to be honest, according to the law.
Here it is.
I don't find there to be any rationale for Tyler Robinson to take this to trial. It makes no sense to do it unless he want to spend $5 million trying to get himself life in prison instead of the death penalty. That's the only thing I can conceive that would happen at this point, because it appears, even in the preliminary trial, that the evidence is overwhelming. Now, if he does plead not guilty, because they haven't entered a plea yet, if he does plead not guilty, and they're not going to enter a plea until after closing arguments in September. So just so you guys know, we're not going to see any of that. I doubt it. But if he does plead not guilty, they go to trial. It's not going to be for another year or so. It's going to be forever before they actually take this to trial. They have so many witnesses and evidence, and they got the jury to select, and
So they have so many witnesses and evidence that they didn't show? Why wouldn't they put their best witnesses and evidence up here? Because if they blow it and then the judge rules you haven't proved enough probable cause, it doesn't even go to trial, dude. So you're saying that there's more evidence, like you guys have been saying the last 10 months, we just needed to wait for the preliminary hearing to see the mountain of evidence, to see the 90% that could be thrown out, and he would still be convicted. Now you're saying there's still more evidence and more witnesses, which I'm sure there might be some that they didn't call, but they're going to present their most strong, compelling evidence, which is what we saw this week, and it was lacking. Lacking. He wants you to trust him. There's more. There's more. We got 1,400 watching. High five. Awesome. What up, Jessica? Just high five. Thank you. I know it's good. We got a good turnout tonight. Super cool. Tim Pool is such a dumb. and is jealous of Clint. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because Clint's genuine, authentic, and smart, and Clint won't sell out. And he's not a total doop like Tim and his band of merry pranksters that are in his stupid studio. Olgatronic, what up? Thank you. The FBI needed the narrative that the dogs would miss the rifle. Hence the text message from Tyler Robinson to Lance. Hopefully the dog has a bad sniffer. Fake as. Yeah, I agree. Not to mention, the stupid SBI, the State Bureau of Investigation investigators, didn't bring any dogs to the actual amphitheater where they found an empty gun holster, where they found a handgun in a backpack left behind by somebody, where Charlie was murdered. They didn't bring any dogs there to sniff for gunpowder residue, or if anything else that the dogs could smell. The reason why they didn't do that is because I think they were told not to do that. They were told not to do that by probably the FBI or somebody that knew if they brought the dogs there, the dogs would hone in on the area around Charlie where there might be explosive residue of PETN or C4, whatever explosive compound was used inside of the road mic. I mean, that's my opinion. Why else would they why else would they make sure not to bring the dogs there? It just seems like a natural thing in an investigation. You would bring the dogs there, if not to like retrace steps, like work in reverse, go to the scene and then have the dog, sniff outward from there. I don't know. They didn't think to do that. All right, let's go to the next thing that I have.
I just left the 4th District Courthouse in Provo, Utah, where the Charlie Kirk pre-trial hearings have just concluded. I was in the courthouse for all of them at the invitation of Erica Kirk. We've been friends with Charlie and the Kirk family for a very long time. She asked my wife and I to come out.
Okay, so think about this, you guys. There was limited seating, all right? Erica Kirk was able to ask for room for her. Okay. She had members of her own family there, right? Her sister, her half-sister was there. Niece and nephew were there. Her lawyer was there. And then you had Brandon Tatum, you had Jack Posobiec, Graham Allen, and now you have Benny Johnson and his wife. Why do you think that she asked that many people to go? Not only that many people with platforms of their own. For this exact reason, so that they could come out all week and tell you that they saw stuff we didn't see. They got to see it clearer because they were there in person. I heard somebody argue that the reason why the video was so bad for us was because the media cameras were 100 feet away, and that those cameras were filming a screen, and that there's you lose quality of the video from recording a screen and then uploading it. Well, that's not true. I recorded because I couldn't lie. I don't know why I don't have it on my phone, but I can't screen record on my phone. And so the other day when the defense went off on Erica Kirk, I held my phone up from like 10, 15 feet away, just my phone, of my TV screen, which is only like 60 something inches. And you could see everything perfectly clear. So, I mean, it's not exactly the same but the quality of the cameras that the media is using and their ability to zoom in is so much better than my iPhone. Okay. And they were using it on a projector screen that's bigger than my 65-inch screen. Okay. So it's just a total BS that because the media was 100 feet away and they're recording a screen that's up over there, that's why you couldn't see it clear, but us in the court could see it clear. Trust us. Good thing we had other people in there saying, no, you couldn't see it clear in the court either. Correction, evidence. Thank you, Renita. And then Delo Good Quest. He's gonna off himself in jail, just like Jeffy Epi. That's Island Boy. We're gonna be stuck back at square one once again. No, I actually don't think that's gonna happen, because at that point, so at this point, we already know that he's not suicidal. Oh, I don't think I can say that on here. He doesn't want to unalive himself. Okay. That was a lie told early on, right? That he was having thoughts of self-harm and that he wanted to end his life. No. That's why his family, his mom and dad, and that LDS Scoutmaster worked so hard to get him to come with them instead of being swatted or pulled over, driving himself somewhere, or risk them saying he was armed and dangerous, which they did say, because they, suspect is believed to be armed and dangerous because he's being suspected of a murder, that they wanted to make sure that he wasn't lawfully killed during the process of surrender. And at no point have you heard his own lawyers, have you heard any people within the jail? He's not on unalive watch. No one has corroborated that he has had any thoughts of hurting himself. But that's what they've been saying all week. And Benny Johnson's going to say it in a minute, that he's like emaciated. He's troubled so much. He's not eating, and that he clearly wants to no longer live. It's a lie. I don't think that they're that stupid. It might happen. I mean, like, look at Lee Harvey Oswald, look at Jack Ruby, look at Jeffy Epi. I think, though, that would cause a lot of issues. None of us would believe it. None of us would buy it. So I think they risk too much if they did that. Mama. But what about the mountain of evidence? There is none. It's not there. It's non-existent. It's just a hole. It's a hole in the ground that with each day that this goes on, the hole is bigger and bigger and bigger. Thank you, Anna Michael, for that super chat. And Jason Welch. It's to taint the jury pool. They will go home and reach more people to say Tyler did it. Yeah, that's 100% what this week was also about for the prosecution. That's why the prosecution forced into evidence by openly reading the Englehart letter when the defense already objected and the judge ruled that it wasn't going to be admitted. He just started reading it. Okay. Like, Englehart knows what was in the mind and the motive of Tyler Robinson. He doesn't. It was disgusting. And all week, that's what all of this evidence and why it was so important to be in the state of Utah, because they'll never be able to enter this in during the trial. Okay. It's already in, and the jury hasn't been selected. That means the jury isn't sequestered. The jury hasn't been given their orders to not do any research, not to watch anything on their own. The jury is all of us at home. Obviously, people in Utah and wherever it's going to be, whether they change venue and it's in somewhere else in the United States or somewhere else in Utah, everyone's tuning into this. So any possible, future juror is either watching it all or they're getting sound bites on little clips from social media. But nonetheless, yeah, that's what all of this was all week, was to continue to taint the jury pool. Yeah. It will be harder to find people who won't be unbiased. Yeah. And to speak directly about the Englehart letter. So look, I'm just going to say something the way I'm going to say it. If there's anyone that's Mormon or LDS, sorry, you want to be called Latter-day Saints. Some people know them as Mormons. Some people don't know that they're LDS and Mormon. It's the same thing, but they're called LDS right now. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Okay. They believe themselves to be Christian. Okay. I don't believe that, because I actually know enough about their religion that they don't just believe in Jesus Christ. Yes, they say they do, and they do, but also there's this whole other book and set of rituals and practices that aren't in the Old or the New Testament that they do in order to reach one of the three heavens that they believe exist. Okay. And you have to be baptized in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to make it into one of these three heavens. You have to be a full tithing member to maintain that membership. Okay. You have to be married in the temple, and every child you have has to be sealed in the temple in order for you and your entire family to make it to one of the three heavens. And none of that's in the New or Old Testament. So for me, I don't consider them Christian, okay? But I digress. They would think so. And that's where this trial will most likely be held, in Utah. And when Engelhardt gets up there the prosecution gets up there and reads this letter by Engelhardt, who has no idea why anyone, let alone what was in the mind of Tyler Robinson. And he speaks to Tyler's motive and says that it's because that he opposed Orthodox Christian values, that the reason why he assassinated Charlie Kirk was because of Charlie Kirk's Orthodox Christian values that he held and he professed all the time. And that was the motive and reason for Tyler to assassinate Charlie Kirk. He knows that if any future juror hears that and ends up believing that, that will 100%, taint their ability to be unbiased and objective, because they might be offended by that statement because they themselves would adhere to and believe in Orthodox Christian values. And so they knew that by reading that out loud, even after the defense objected, and that everyone watching in the state of Utah, that would be offensive to them. And that could possibly totally taint the jury pool. And it did.
And I need to explain something to you because I think it is critical for the greater public to understand what I just witnessed. The judge ordered that the cameras in the courthouse be turned off for us to watch the high definition, high quality version of this video. This video has been criticized online because it is a TV that's being filmed.
So look how big this screen is. Okay, look how little her head is. All right. I don't see any, degradation of this film from the camera filming it, which is a very high quality, professional, big camera that the media uses. And other people that were in the court said, nope, this is what it looked like. Because they get out of the court each day, then they go online and they see what it looks like from the live streams, and they go, nope, yeah, that's exactly what it looked like.
That shows security camera, and it's being filmed from a long ways away. It's a small courthouse, but the camera that's filming this television screen, not only does it distort the security camera footage, but it also is at least 100 feet away from the screen itself. And so what you are seeing here is like a 720p aspect ratio version quality of what they have. And the judge ordered us all to watch the full high definition security footage, 4K, that exists.
He's just making it up. You can't turn a video that's not filmed in 4K. You can't turn it into 4K. It's not filmed in 4K, moron. It's literally the quality that we saw. That's the original quality of the video. Thank you, sweetheart. You can't turn it into 4K, all right? Unless you do some AI BS to it and enhance it, and then it's not the original footage anymore. Now it's something perverted and different, okay? So, no, what it is what it is. And if it turned into 4K all of a sudden, then that's not the original video, and you shouldn't trust that at all. But anyways, people that were there and that are not liars and that are honest and unbiased said, no, it's exactly the same. They just zoomed in a little. It doesn't, when you zoom in, it doesn't enhance the quality. In fact, if you have a poor quality footage and you zoom in, it actually makes it a little worse. And that's what happened. And we know that from the Losi Center Eagle Boy jumping off the roof video. We saw what they showed us when it was zoomed out. That's as good as the quality is. You can't see anything. It's a black Sasquatch running across the roof and jumping off. They zoom in, you see less definition and less clarity. It got worse with the zoom, not better. So how would the video that preceded that moment, it's the same video, it's the same camera capturing it. They just zoom in on that part when he jumps off, but for the part that he climbs over the railing, goes out to the shooting position, gets in the, prone position, all they did was zoom in on that corner of that footage. Somehow, when they zoom in on that part of the video, it got clearer. It turned into 4K. You can now clearly see that it's Tyler Robinson. You can now clearly see he'll go on to say it's either him or it's going to be Andrew or Blake or whoever that we listen to next. Say that you could actually see the rifle now. They're going to say that you could actually see inside the pant leg that it's a rifle. And that you can actually see that he takes the rifle out of his pants and assembles it, and that you can see the rifle when he takes it out to the shooting position. But then when we see the same footage just zoomed in on him running and jumping off, you don't see the rifle anymore. You see a towel or a blanket or a bag, a flimsy thing that's flopping everywhere. When Catherine Nesser cross-examined the two investigators and police officers that said they viewed the video in those early hours before the 33 hours, and they were like, yeah, you can see it's a rifle. She's like, wait, what? You saw a rifle? And he goes, nah, I mean, I saw a long, pointy object which fits the description of a rifle under the towel. And she goes, you knew it was a towel? And no, I couldn't tell if it was a towel or a blanket. You couldn't tell if it was a towel or a blanket, but you could tell it's a rifle? No, I couldn't tell that it's a rifle, but it fits the description of a long, solid object with a point, so it's like a rifle. Okay, so you didn't see a rifle. No, I didn't, but I mean, that's how bad they are at this. Freaking morons. Let's see. YouTube certified commenter Baron Coleman was discussing how caliber was spelt, calibre, in the text messages from Tyler Robinson to Lance Twiggs. If you're willing to pull up Baron's stream from yesterday at timestamp 2:14, you will see the closed captioning uses caliber and later calibre. Okay, I'll write it down. We'll see if we can get to it today. If not, I can put it in the show for tomorrow for sure, okay? RBP. Yesterday video. Because I still have a lot to get through, okay? Thank you for the super chat. I'll try to get to it today. We're already at an hour and 52. If we don't get to it today, I'll make sure we get to it tomorrow, okay? And thank you for your super, and thank you for pointing that out. And I'll definitely either get to it today or tomorrow for sure. All right, and then we have Just Travelus. That is not Tyler's car. It's a different car. Look at the car at its house and his parents' house. Yeah, so I was actually looking at Tyler's car exhaust, and Tyler's car exhaust has these rectangle mufflers with nothing inside. It's just the rectangle mufflers. The video that they're showing has the rectangle exhaust on each side, but it also has two holes inside, which then go into two pipes, which then go into that whole part of the car. The exhausts are not the same in each car. Similar, not identical. So yeah, I don't think they're the same car either. Matt Beth, K9H. That's interesting. That's me and my wife. I'm Matt. She's Beth. Who are you? Nice work, brother. I appreciate your commitment to exposing these meatballs. I'm going to join this channel. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. I think I know who you are. I think I do. I appreciate everybody, though. All right, let me get to this, and then let's get back to it. Jay Robinson became a member Oh, those are cool dogs. Are those all Germans? Yeah, they look all Germans. I like Germans. I like Belgian Malinois too, man. If I had more time, like to have a Belgian and actually give them the exercise they need, I would totally have a Belgian. Maybe someday. Sorry, I worked out. I had a long day. I went to the gym, came home, prepped for the show, haven't eaten, had an energy drink, and I'm shaky. So I was like, babe, please bring me a protein shake so I can get something in my stomach so I don't pass out during show. That would be embarrassing.
Exists of Tyler Robinson murdering Charlie Kirk. I was able to see it myself, maybe 7 feet away from me was the screen. They rolled in a screen for the family to watch. This was a request from the family's attorney. The criticisms of this video is that you can't see.
The only attorney there is Erica Kirk's attorney. It's not the family's attorney. He's not representing Erica and Charlie's parents. He is the victim representative's attorney, Erica Kirk. This is how dishonest they are. They want you to associate Erica with Charlie's parents every chance they get.
His face, and you can't make out the license plate, and you can't see much detail. Well, let me tell you that having seen it myself in person, the state's case is overwhelming and demonstrable. You can see every bit of the license plate number. You can watch the enhanced version where they zoom in on the rooftop to show Tyler Robinson running across the top of the Losi building, lining it up perfectly with the shot that kills Charlie Kirk, and then him fleeing and something else.
So this is where they do double speak. Here he goes. You see him clearly lining up the shot and then getting up and running after. He doesn't say that you see the shot. Notice how they do that.
Can't see is Tyler Robinson. But I saw him. For 3.5 hours, I sat 10 feet away from Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson, I don't know how to describe this. He never made eye contact, never turned around in his chair, never faced the family. Erica tells me he's never looked at the family, not once. He just stared at the.
How stupid do they think we are? Okay. In all the previous hearings, right? Before the judge ordered that like no still photos or videos would be captured of Tyler Robinson, which ended up happening a lot during this prelim. A lot of video they would pan out, would capture him. They wouldn't zoom in on him solely, but he was captured on a lot of video this week. But every chance they got, these people would take advantage of an opportunity to misrepresent body language, facial expressions, conversations he's having with his attorneys, and say that he was callous, that he was laughing, that he was enjoying this. The lawyers are going to give him instructions. Do not turn around and engage with anyone in the stands, okay? When we take breaks, you'll get to interact with your parents, probably in a separate room like other people did, or if they take him back to the cell, or I don't know, sometimes because he gets to interact with his lawyers in a different room during breaks, during lunch breaks and things like that, his parents most likely would get to interact with him in those moments as well. They would have given him instructions. Don't turn around. Don't give the prosecution anything. Don't look at her, Erica. Don't look at their family. Don't turn around and engage with anyone in the stands. Just stay focused and stay faced the front. Interact with us and us alone. Don't do anything else. They're going to take advantage of that and misrepresent every little thing you do.
Ground while this video was playing in 4K, while the courthouse gasped at seeing this in its full resolution. I'm telling you, it's like it is damning to see this all, and it will be released, just not yet. Tyler Robinson is pale, sallow, looks like he hasn't been eating, skeletal. You could see Tyler Robinson's bones through his suit. Tyler Robinson looked sickly. It looked like the weight of what he has done has been pressed upon him.
He just takes license, what is it? Creative license, or, with interpreting and telling us why Tyler looks the way he does, because he's just guilty and he knows it. Benny Johnson has lost all credibility long before today. Today is just the icing on the cake. You're nobody, bro.
And that's what the testimony of Lance Twiggs yesterday revealed.
No,
that he's sorry for what he did, that he wished he hadn't done it. That's the testimony. And that he was trying to kill himself. That's what he said to his parents.
Did his parents, do we have a audio recording or a written statement that his parents ever said that? Nope. Just regurgitating previous lies. Do we have anything that is Tyler saying these things to Lance, or are we just having to take Lance's word for it? Oh, we just have to take Lance's word for it. Okay. Rock solid evidence.
Who were also not too far from me. But while this video was playing, something that I think you needed, that no one could see, but that everybody needs to hear about, and that I have permission to share, is that Erica Kirk was in a ball of tears in the shoulder of Charlie's mother. And Charlie's mother was crying on Erica. It was so painful to watch this in 4K. It was so tough to watch this video, and they blacked out and they blurred some of the video here. To see the full high definition is so damning. And that's the position of the prosecution. The position of the prosecution is this case is a slam dunk, that we have overwhelming.
This is so insane, right? So who do we have to prove? Oh my gosh, that's a scary, what the heck? Oh my gosh, you scared me. Erica's here? Erica Francevay, what are you doing here? Get out of here. Hey, if that's you, I know it's probably not you. You're funny, whoever this is. How dare any of you question Benny? We pay him large sums to propagandize the plebes. Erica, come on. Come on the show. I'll interview you. You have your day. Tell us your side. Tell Benny to come on. Pay him an extra sum of money. Tell him I'll interview him. I'll do it good. We'll be tasteful, just like you were tasteful with Charlie's socials. I won't be morbid like you were, okay? But your husband's dead, okay? Frickin' Erica Francevay. What do we got? Joe Filicetti. Did he seriously just say you can see his bones through his suit? He did. He's going to go on to say more. He's a freaking idiot. I've been watching the trial all week. You don't see anyone's bones. You know how people's, what is it, their scapula, or what are those shoulder things that in the back, I don't know what it's called, but when you're like sitting like this, you can like see your shoulders, like, that part of it sometimes stick out. Also, would it even really be his fault if he's lost weight? Do you know how bad the food is in jail? Okay. My brother was in and out of prison his whole life. Jail is worse food wise. Cause like in jail, like depending on where prison you go to, but you can like buy more, like when you're in prison, like they actually have like a common, like you can put people can put money on your books, and you can like buy food, and you can control a little bit better of what you eat. Still not great, but jail food is like bologna sandwiches and, just like really gross food from what my brother said. Yeah, you probably will lose weight if you're in jail. And yeah, it's probably stressful being on trial for murder, whether you did it or didn't do it. It doesn't mean he's guilty because he lost weight, and he's pale because he's not getting outside. You know what he doesn't get in jail? He doesn't get rec time. There is no yard. He doesn't get to go outside. This isn't prison. It's jail. He's awaiting his sentence. So he's in these fluorescent lights indoors all day. And because he's such a high profile individual, he's probably locked down 23 hours of the day. I doubt that they allow him out in general population with other people. So he's going to be pale, and he's Probably going to be skinny because he's in jail. You freaking moron, right? Benny Johnson's an idiot. Let's see where I left off. Bones for his suit. Great. I just lost another 1 million brain cells listening to that. Yeah, freaking Benny, dude. It's nuts. All right, I need to make sure I'm caught up on the chat. Okay. All right, let's continue with more on Johnson.
Empirical and demonstrable evidence that this is something that the court and a jury will convict and will send Tyler Robinson to the electric chair or to a firing squad, which is, by the way, legal in Utah. There are multiple situations that would merit a firing squad in Utah. Some states don't have that. Utah does.
What's crazy is because we're at like 2 hours and I still have other videos to get through. Brandon Tatum, like Megyn Kelly said early on, but Brandon Tatum said he wants to be there when they flip the switch, or if they do firing squad, he wants to be there and watch him get shot. That's what Brandon Tatum said. Benny Johnson says the same thing. That's how gross these people are. You know, like I could understand it. Like I would feel the same way. Like I would. And here's the thing. Charlie said it himself when he was asked about, what should be the consequence for someone taking an innocent life intentionally. Charlie said that the moment they take someone's life intentionally, which is murder, that they've already killed themselves. Okay. And that the eventual death penalty is just the final carrying out of that already happening the moment they took someone's life. Charlie was for the death penalty for people that intentionally murder other people. I agree 100%. But I would have to, if I were to make a statement like that, if like somebody murdered a friend of mine or a family member, I would want to know with absolute certainty that that person did it in order for me to make that statement. I would not want to watch a possible innocent person be murdered for not murdering my family member or my friend. I would not make that statement unless I was absolutely positive that they were the ones that murdered my family member or friend. And with everything that we've seen this week, there is no certainty that Tyler Robinson murdered anyone, let alone Charlie Kirk, let alone even was on campus at 12:23 and 29 seconds on top of the Losi Center roof with a 98 Mauser stuffed down his pants. There is literally zero concrete evidence of that. And so for them, and Jack Posobiec and Andrew and Blake are about to say the same thing, and that's what we're going to get to next. Just Jessica, high five. I think Tyler may have backed out at the last minute. That's not a bad theory. That could explain Charlie's last minute interview. Tyler meeting TPUSA. The campus. What? What the frick? That was weird. What the heck? Please play. Okay. Yeah, I will, sweetie. I'm not there yet. I don't know why Andrew Colvett is on Newsmax. Just sent you the Newsmax. Okay, I just sent it to you, the link with the email, if you want to play it. Yeah, I'll play it. But my phone just started listening to me when I said TPUSA. Did you guys hear that? It just started talking to me when I said TPUSA. I read your thing. I was Charlie's last minute interview, Tyler meeting TPUSA, and then my phone was just, SIRI just started listening and then started talking to me. That was weird. Don't want that to happen again. Tyler meeting TPUSA, the campus warnings, and why he turned himself in saying he had info. Yeah, I definitely think that Tyler played some part in this, and that at some point, everyone involved decided Tyler would go down for it. and that there would be enough circumstantial evidence to point to him. It's either that or he was taking part in some sort of crime, maybe even taking part in the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but that he was never playing a direct role in the assassination itself, but just played a role by like allowing them to use his gun or walking around campus and scouting out the event. That would make sense why he would have been the one that maybe went in the morning at 8:30 at 10 a.m., walked around campus, got the lay of the land, knew where the tent was set up, saw where the chair was set up, that they could say where exactly it was. Maybe he went to TPUSA and asked, when is Charlie going to arrive? And then he left, and then he told the person who was going to do the assassination all of that intel that he gathered when he was there in the morning. Whatever it is, whatever role he played, he wasn't on the Losi Center roof at 1223. But at some point, everyone decided it was going to be Tyler that would go down for it. So I do believe that. What do we got? We got Ms. Jilly. I find it interesting that shortly after Erica is named the emotional asset, she's crying all day. And can you say programming? Yeah. Can you say Manchurian Candidate? Yeah. Can you say Mortal Kombat Ultra? Definitely. All right. Let's hop to the next video so we can keep moving along. All the videos I have today are super interesting. Also, real quick, the video that we're going to watch right now is Andrew Kolvet and Blake Neff, and then eventually Jack Posobiec is going to be on. But they got a brand new set. Andrew Kolvet and Blake Neff stepped their game up. Today, they're wearing suits with ties, and they're on a brand new set. I have no idea where it is, but we know after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, they actually purchased a couple other buildings on the campus. It's called a campus because it's gated, and there's multiple buildings. They started with one, and then they've slowly purchased other buildings in the campus business park area where they are in Arizona. Now they have 5 total buildings, all after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And now today, the culmination of the prelim hearing, the set is perfect and up and running. Wait till you see it.
All right, welcome everybody. The preliminary hearing in the state of Utah versus Tyler Robinson wrapped up this, I guess depending on which part of the country you are, this early afternoon or late morning. And we are now we're moving up our recap a little bit here just to make sure that it's all fresh. And so there's not as much evidence that was presented today, but that's okay because there is some really important, I guess, developments that we need to cover right now. Here to help us do it is Steve Deace. You know him from the Steve Deace Show, Blaze TV, great friend of the show, and is a great friend of Charlie. Steve, welcome. We've got a lot of little details here to wrap up, and I'm going to update the audience on them first, and then we're going to get to your perspective of what's happened and then some bigger concepts that I think are important to explore. So just after court wrapped, the preliminary hearing wrapped, there was a statement made by the Kirk family. And I'm going to read that, and then there was a filing as well. So here it is. This is from the Kirk family. The conclusion of the preliminary hearing marks an important step forward in the pursuit of justice for Charlie. Our family is grateful for the prayer, support, and kindness that has been extended to us, especially through these unimaginably painful next phase. We pray that truth will continue to be heard through a process that is fair, transparent, and grounded in the facts. Okay, so the Kirk family, that would be obviously Erica, along with Rob, Charlie's father, and Kathy, Charlie.
Notice how he said that. So the whole time, sorry, when he's saying it, he doesn't specify who the Kirk family is. It's implied, right? But he says, obviously, Erica Kirk. And then he, as an afterthought, says Charlie's parents. We don't have any verification except for these bozos that Charlie's mom and dad are included in this Charlie Kirk family statement. Just like the previous one that was posted in leading up to the prelim hearing, They posted a Kirk family post preceding the trial. We don't know. We don't know that his parents are part of that. There's no actual verification, just their word.
His mother issued that jointly on behalf of the family. Then, immediately after Steve and Blake, the family representative, Jeff Nyman, put forward a filing sort of requesting prompt resolution to the matter of probable cause, right? So that is the legal threshold that must be reached in order to take this to a full trial. So in this, and I believe we have the image here, he filed this like almost immediately. It was very quick work. He said, we are approaching the 1-year anniversary of Charlie's assassination, which is just mind-boggling on its face. 10 months have passed since the defendant's arrest, and the 5-day preliminary hearing has now concluded. The defendant is entitled to a fair trial, and he must receive one, but he is not entitled to cause undue delay in the criminal justice process. The family is likewise entitled to a speedy resolution. Utah Code 77387 provides that, quote, the victim of a crime has the right to a speedy disposition of the charges free from unwarranted delay caused by or at the behest of the defendant. The family trusts this court to ensure the case proceeds without further delay. We respectfully urge this court to issue its probable cause determination no later than September 1, 2026, which is significant because right now Judge Graff has said that they'll have a hearing on September 1, right? Which means that, Steve, we could possibly get to beyond a 1-year anniversary out before we even know if this is going to go to trial, before a probable cause determination has been made.
And we know it's going to be 4 hours of oral argument at least, plus 35 pages of briefs from each side in that hearing. So it could be very tempting for him to kick the can down the road past that hearing date.
Steve, your thoughts on balancing Judge Graff's balancing act of the constitutional.
We're not going to listen to him. This guy talks and talks and talks. This is where they play her, but let me get their response after right here.
Okay, so that's the defense's star witness that just linked evidence to Tyler Robinson at 1 in a trillion, but that's where they cap it. So it could have been much. I mean, we were hearing octillion.
Yeah, they were saying, yes, a trillion. Yeah. So they just cap it out at 1 in the number of cells in your body, I think.
And by the way, I was getting bombarded with texts, Steve, from people that are.
Okay, so by the way, I don't know which idiot has their phone on the desk. I think it's the idiot in the blue shirt on the right. It's vibrating. It's not mine. It's one of these morons. And I don't know why they don't notice it. Because if we can hear it, they can hear it in their headphones. And it goes on.
Or in the legal profession, former prosecutors, all this kind of stuff, unrelated to the case, but they're watching it, right? And they just kept the same guy that's doing all the forensic, witness questioning on behalf of the defense is really hard to listen to. Like your eyes glass over. It is completely not fun to watch, right? This is not riveting TV, and I think that's the point. But they kept making the point that it is really going to turn a jury off, and it's going to exasperate the judge. It's not a good winning strategy here. So
that's their interpretation of it. When I was listening to him, I thought he was rock solid. I think it's Burke or something like that, Attorney Burke for the defense. The only part that they honed in on there was when she told the odds of the certainty that Tyler Robinson was one of the contributors to the 5 contributors to the DNA that was found on the different pieces of physical evidence. So yes, they're pretty sure that Tyler Robinson's DNA and fingerprints were found on these different pieces of physical evidence, like the screwdriver, the towel, the ammo, and the gun. But so was Lance Twiggs, and so was 4 other people. Okay? And so what the prosecution did was add words after the crime lab analysis presented their findings. They added words like strongly points to or like strongly concludes that it's Tyler, like strongly, they added the word strongly in front of the conclusion from the crime, whatever lab did these different analysis, the ballistic and the DNA and the fingerprints. And then the defense pointed out how that they never, the lab themselves don't use that language. They let the analysis and the percentage and the stats speak for themselves. That was added by the State Bureau of Investigation and the Utah County Attorney's Office in their conclusory findings, right? Their conclusory statements from the different pieces of evidence when it came back from being analyzed, and how misleading that is. And she was like, yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that. I forget, it was like the Department of Justice like dictates the rules of the language that they're allowed to use when writing up their reports. But SBI and the State Bureau of Investigation and the Utah County Attorney's Office don't have to follow that. And they can add in their conclusory statements like strongly. It doesn't strongly do anything. It just shows that Tyler Robinson is one of the contributors out of the 5 or 6 DNA contributors to the different pieces of physical evidence. Okay. It doesn't, if it was all some of his own personal belongings, like the ammo and the rifle, which he was already using and preparing, going shooting to go hunting and fishing with his grandfather and his dad, yeah, his DNA and fingerprints are going to be all over it. If they pulled a towel from Tyler's bathroom that him and his roommates and Lance all use when they wash their hands or wash their face or whatever, yep, his DNA is going to be in that, just like Lance Twiggs and a couple other people's DNA was in there as well. So that doesn't mean that that points to Tyler Robinson using that towel, that screwdriver, those rounds of ammunition and that rifle on the 10th, and that he's the one that brought it on top of the roof in the commission of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It doesn't mean that. They would have you believe that it does.
That's the defense's best shot, okay? Now let's go back to what you just said about the plea deal. And this is, I think, actually a little bit more interesting here, because during the course of the week, you saw the defense fighting tooth and nail to keep out what are called enhancements. Enhancements are legally important because that's what justifies a death penalty in a case like this, right? So if you can put an enhancement, and Blake, actually, you know this pretty well because you know the case history.
Yes, it's just you need, unfortunately, our glorious Supreme Court in one of its slightly more liberal eras said that you can't just have the death penalty as a default penalty for murder. You need these enhancements. There needs to be an aggravating factor. And so we need something to be sustained. We need it to be a politically motivated crime. We need to potentially be a crime that endangers minors. That's another way they can go for it. They have a few different ways they can get it, but by far the most likely is that he was motivated to target Charlie. I think that they're going a lot for that because of Charlie's religion, because then it's basically a religiously motivated hate crime.
They actually have to pick one. They don't get to use multiple, okay? And they picked political, okay? Not religious. And that's why they entered in the Englehart letter 2 days ago and read it even after the objection was sustained by the judge when the defense objected to it. And then the prosecution read it aloud anyway. And it started quoting Matthew 19. And Englehart tried to tell you that the motive and intent behind Tyler Robinson's, what his mindset was when carrying out this crime was religiously motivated. Well, that's not the enhancement that they selected prior to the prelim. They chose political. And then they're trying to enter in others. And yes, like they're trying to also say like there was children, young children in the commission of this crime, which I think there was, but I don't think Tyler's the one that did it. So, I mean, it's unfair that the enhancement's going to be used to get the death penalty for him. I mean, if I'm wrong, which I don't think I am, I will be one of the first to come out and say I was wrong. But I would say that I'd be wrong because everything that they presented showed otherwise. I don't think that'll be the case, but if it does, I'd be a man and say that I was wrong. But the prosecution was supposed to pick an enhancement, and then they've jumped all over the place and tried to taint the jury pool. And Jackie Jack, 1991, became a member today. Thank you, Jackie Jack. Welcome to the team.
Crime enhancement that they
Right.
could go for.
So you see them fighting for that, but the judge ultimately allowed the exhibit from David Engelhardt, who's one of the board members, explaining the mission of turning.
No, he provisionally allowed it, which means it was accepted into evidence, but not allowed to be read or published yet. It's just provisionally accepted into the evidence, and he will rule later on it once the prosecution argues more about its relevance and necessity for their case. But he's not actually ruled on it in being fully allowed. It's provisionally allowed. And the prosecution attorney McBride was no longer allowed to quote directly from it because the defense objected and it was sustained by the judge. So Andrew's lying once again. How do you know when Andrew's lying? His lips are moving.
Point and explaining how deeply integrated Charlie's Christian faith was to some of his positions, say, on the trans issue or in genders and sex, right? So that ended up getting admitted into evidence, right? Not only that, but you had the political motivations in the text messages where it says, some hate just can't be negotiated out. I had enough of his hate. Then
here's what's crazy. So all of those text messages and Discord chats, we only even know of their existence because of Lance Twiggs. I don't believe them. Number two, Celebrite is the Israeli company that pulled them off the phone, and they can be edited and manufactured and created after the fact. Also, the Engelhardt letter tried to tell us that because of Charlie's views, that's why Tyler did what he did. He's got no clue what Tyler did for anything, let alone this. We don't believe Tyler did it, or whoever did it. He has no clue, but he tried to say it anyway. Here's the thing, though. In Lance Twiggs's own testimony, when asked, did Tyler and you ever talk politics? He said no. Did you ever talk about the LGBTQ trans stuff? He said no. The only thing that they ever talked about politics was about legislation, and it had nothing to do with trans or religion or LGBTQ issues. Okay, so they're dating, they're living together, they're saying, I love you, they're going, mwah, mwah, mwah in their text, but we're supposed to believe that I believe that they never talked about it, but what I'm saying is now they want you to believe that that is the motivating factor for Tyler to do this. If it was the motivating factor, if Tyler really did this and that was what really motivated him to do it, it's going to come up in conversation with his partner. He's going to talk about this. There's a whole thing. It's called pillow talk. Okay, that doesn't just mean in the bed. It just means in private with your significant other. You divulge deeper parts of your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings when you feel safe and alone in your home with just you and your significant other. Lance said that never happened. They never talked about this. Did he ever mention Charlie Kirk? No. Directly asked the question to Lance, did Tyler ever mention Charlie Kirk? No. Oh, but he just out of nowhere, the last 2 weeks before September 10th was completely motivated with hate and vitriol for Charlie, that he planned the assassination of our lifetime because he just was so pissed about this and some hate couldn't be negotiated out, but he never spoke about it with Lance. Yeah, because they were never in a relationship, in my opinion, and Tyler wasn't motivated by any of these things. Hey, you, how the hell are they allowed to call this the Charlie Kirk Show, hosted by these two idiots? It's completely ridiculous and manipulative. What's worse is this, I think, is a new channel. I'd have to look. It's not Real America's Voice. Well, it might be. So the ats, I haven't seen this. It says at Real Charlie Kirk. That's different. I haven't noticed that before. I'll show it in a second after I read the next super chat, okay? Thank you for your super chat. They shouldn't call it that. It should be called like Andrew and Blake or Kolvet and Neff, or I don't know. They could name this Thought Crime, or it could just be called Real America's Voice with Andrew and Blake. It should not be called Charlie Kirk anymore. It shouldn't, and I think it should be illegal. But I think that's also why Erica applied for trademarks of Charlie's signatures, names, and likeness. It still hasn't been granted yet, but Andrew compared Erica to the Virgin Mary on X yesterday. He is a blasphemer. Yeah, I know. So did Megyn Kelly in her interview in the just days after the assassination. Megyn did it too. But let's see. So where does it say it? I know I saw it somewhere. So it says Charlie Kirk. Where did I see it say at? It said at real Charlie Kirk somewhere on this video. Maybe it was like when it first popped up. Let's see. Hold on. It was like a little like link somewhere. Maybe it's so here it says email at freedom at charliekirk.com. Keep an eye out. It pops up somewhere. It says at real Charlie Kirk somewhere, which I haven't noticed before.
And you also had the bullet engravings, which had Bella Ciao, which is a famous anti-fascist song from Italy back in the 1940s. You had Hey Fascist Catch. There are multiple pieces of that puzzle that explain the why. And so I don't understand what leg they're going to have to stand on. But the point is, if they were able to successfully argue against some of those enhancements or those pieces of evidence that would lead to the enhancements, you know, from being admitted as evidence, maybe that changes their plea calculation.
Yeah,
yeah, we're not listening to you. You're a moron. This total freaking horrible human being wrote a post just days after the assassination saying, be deserving of the bullet that Charlie Kirk took for you. That's this guy. He wrote some sort of article or post or something just days after the assassination and said, be deserving of the bullet Charlie Kirk took for you. That's the guy in the blue with the glasses. Star-shaped refrigerator Megan, I think. Trans people always talk about being trans. Yeah. Yep. Not Tyler, though. Not Tyler. You know, he's the exception. He's the exception to everything. Mystic, thank you so much for 5 more Blackline Brief memberships gifted. Hopefully people that want them get them. All right, let's continue. There's something big coming in this video, so stay tuned. Let me skip this moron real quick. Let's go right there.
Exasperation, but we do yeah, okay. Yeah. Hang tight. I've got some stuff I really want to share, but Blake,
we want to be absolutely certain.
I want to be absolutely certain. Okay, so just hang tight. Blake, why don't you the biggest piece of evidence you saw that was admitted in court for the public viewing, what was it? What would you say it was?
I mean, there was a lot, thankfully, as we can say. I think we go back to the thing that the defense was most eager to move past, with that we have Lance Twiggs on camera. He says, yep, I received these text messages from Tyler Robinson. I'm the guy who did it. He says, check for this.
How do you know that the whole case rests on Lance Twiggs's testimony and the text messages that he testifies came from Tyler Robinson and the Discord chat that he swears Tyler Robinson authored? How do you know? Well, you know, if you paid attention all week, that was the big thing. And when asked right now, hey, Blake, what's the most damning piece of evidence you think was presented all week? Everything regarding Lance Twiggs. Will he be brought back in during trial and open himself up to cross-examination? No. Nope. That's why they brought him back in March. His testimony given in September, October of 2025 was insufficient. Not good enough. 6 months later, Attorney McBride approaches Lance Twiggs, offers him a deal he cannot refuse. Hey, in our investigation, we see that you may be an accomplice after the fact. You knew, you didn't turn him in. We also have footage, which could be you. See all this video footage that we're saying is Tyler? Could be you. Maybe we got the wrong guy. Maybe we go offer Tyler immunity. You better be the first one to take the deal, because if you're the second, then you're the one gonna be on trial. Take the deal, get immunity. We'll also sweeten up the pot. Family need a house? How about 2? Family want to start a company? How about an LLC and a nonprofit? All in March, when he gets brought in and gives the testimony that saved his life. But also, damned Tyler's. Yeah. The whole case rests on Lance Twiggs. Total BS.
Note, we saw more detail of that conversation than we saw before, or we actually have Tyler, say, F, I thought I deleted this. He seems to have mistaken, basically.
Do you know that it's Tyler? Or you're just saying it's Tyler because the photo that the cop took of Lance's phone, it just says Tyler at the top? Look, I could change my wife's name in my phone to Tyler right now. I could find whatever photo they have saved as the profile, whatever profile photo Lance has for Tyler. I could find that, put that in as well. Look, I got text messages from Tyler Robinson too. Oh my gosh. He told me he loved me today. I could make it in a second. With AI, we could even make anything else we want. Doesn't mean anything. Hasn't been validated. Well, and even if it does get validated, it gets validated by Cellbrite, Israel.
He mistakenly roped Lance Twiggs in. He details trying to retrieve his rifle. We have the description of the note. We were mistakenly shown an image of that note. We see the burned version of that note.
Mistakenly. How stupid. So supposedly, and this was the part that I didn't understand, because I swore, maybe one of you can help refresh my memory. I swore that back in some of the early documents, like the charging documents and the probable cause affidavit, I thought Lance Twiggs is the one that burnt the note. I know Lance Twiggs is the one that took the photo and then put it back. But so now I think from what was said during this week was that Tyler came home and burned the note, but didn't make sure he burned it all the way. And didn't think to ask his lover if he took a picture of the note and asked him to delete the picture of the note. Pretty stupid for a pretty smart guy. So in burning the note, you're wanting to destroy the note entirely. But he doesn't even do that. He burns it partially. So this is if he were smart, which he is. So it couldn't have been something he did. It must have been something Lance did in order to frame him, in my opinion. You burn the note in a bowl. And then the ashes, you grind up into fine powder. And then you flush it down the frickin' toilet. It's gone. Tyler's so dumb, he burns the note partially, leaves it in the trash can where he knows he's got to know they're going to eventually go back there. And then a big portion of the note is left intact. And you can even see parts of the letters in the writing, leaving an ability to do handwriting analysis on those letters. Also, you'd be able to corroborate what part of the letter that is with the photo. Oddly enough, we looked at the letters on the burned note and compared it to the letter that they showed in court. I never find any part of the letter that has those letters in that order with line, with ED, and then the next line, which is it's either a T or a Y and a period. It doesn't exist. Maybe there's more of the letter we didn't see. But how stupid could Tyler Robinson be to burn the note only to fail at burning the note? and then leave it in his trash can for the freaking authorities to find. It's nuts.
We see Lance Twiggs. We heard Lance Twiggs say he confessed to me in person, crying, saying he didn't want to do it, or he wishes he hadn't done it. And I think that in concert with the physical evidence we have just makes it absolutely overwhelming. And people will fixate on whether they have 100, can they match this bullet to the exact gun, or is it only the same category? That is so beside the point when all evidence you have supports the claim that Tyler Robinson did it, and when you have direct confession to it. It truly is overwhelming. It almost feels like we're being toyed with or something, that this is even up for debate to me.
All right, so it's
so insane coming from them. It's so insane coming from these people saying literally what we're experiencing when watching them and watching the prosecution. There is no direct confession from Tyler Robinson. There is no overwhelming evidence. It's just nuts what they're trying to do and act like they're not trying to do it, and then gaslight us and say that we're doing that to them. I'm a pretty smart guy. Not the smartest guy, but I'm not the dumbest either. I'm a pretty honest guy. I have no dog in the fight in it being or not being Tyler Robinson. All I'm looking for is whoever the frick actually killed Charlie. That's the only thing I care about. I want whoever did this and whoever aided whoever did this to be found, charged, convicted, and put to death. That's what I want. That's what Charlie would want. And if his wife really loved him, that's what she would want too. It just so happens none of this freaking evidence points to Tyler Robinson having been the guy that did that. So yeah, I have my reservations in rushing to judgment and asking for the murder of another person that I'm not wholly convinced had anything to do with the actual killing of Charlie Kirk. When Andrew asked Blake what he thought the most compelling evidence that came out, Blake should have said, the bald guy seen driving his car. Yeah, I bet he thought about it. You know what's interesting? I was on an X Space last night, and or was this morning? I can't remember. They were referencing, someone asked Blake. So Blake arrived there by himself in Provo ahead of Charlie and everyone else. Would not let anyone know what he was doing in the hours leading up to the event. And he was the only person on the team that stayed in Provo the night of the 10th. Everyone else in the team went to Salt Lake City. Blake stayed behind. When asked, what were you doing? He couldn't remember. He couldn't recall. Also, when asked, do you know who those TPUSA staff members are that supposedly talked to Tyler Robinson in the morning when he came on campus and interacted with TPUSA staff? He goes, even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you. Probably because it might have been him. Just a thought. Also, when talking about overwhelming evidence, that campus that is connected to the CIA and the LDS Church has lots and lots of money, has cameras everywhere. The quad, cameras. Inside the buildings, entrances, cameras. Supposedly where Tyler Robinson went in the Sorensen building and had Chick-fil-A, cameras. Why don't we have any other footage of Tyler Robinson on campus in the morning? Why can't they show us any other footage of Tyler Robinson on campus? Because it doesn't exist. Because in the preliminary hearing, when they're fighting to prove probable cause, they would put forth their best evidence. They did not. Why would they not do that? Why would they risk the chance of not meeting the threshold for probable cause? Why would they risk the chance of the judge finding not enough probable cause, not enough to go to trial? They wouldn't. They would put forth their best evidence, period. Where's that video evidence of Tyler on campus at all, besides the footage that they showed us? It doesn't exist. Why can't we see clear frontal footage of Tyler Robinson's face? Doesn't exist. Why wouldn't TPUSA have said months ago that they actually have someone's personal testimony of interacting with Tyler Robinson that day? Or because they film every event and every interaction when they're at these campus events, what, they don't have footage of that interaction? No. How convenient.
I'm just getting some breaking here right now, and I think this is public. It's public domain. This is from Heidi Hatch, KUTV reporter.
We already listened to her. She's the one in the orange. Hold on. Oh, they don't play it for a second. Hold
on. So she says, and we're pulling this video, but after the defense final DNA witness, the court allowed the family to watch the zoomed in surveillance video from Utah Valley University. Okay. Remember a little bit, rewind the tape here. There was a huge rigmarole about the enhanced video, right?
So this is zoomed in.
Yeah, zoomed in, and it's the quality I'm being told is it's surprisingly high. And they called it the John Madden kind of style video because, I think they circle it and they zoom in, they draw your eye to kind of where Tyler's walking around on campus. She said, Heidi Hatch says, even zoomed in, the quality of the video is surprisingly high. Because remember, there's press in the courtroom that was able to watch this as well. It just wasn't broadcast to the public. You could see the man on the roof, reportedly, this is her words, reportedly Tyler Robinson getting down into that whine or prone position before the shot was fired. The video showing Robinson allegedly returning to campus with jeans on shows that very distinct limp with the rifle likely in the leg of his pants. You apparently can see things.
We have another source, someone who was able to see it. He says, you see the person that we believe is Tyler Robinson. You can see them go over the guardrail, crouch down to assemble the rifle, run across the roof.
Look at Andrew. He's like, what the heck are you doing right now? Look at this. You can't see this any other way. Andrew didn't have this source. Andrew was going to say something else. Blake goes rogue. Brandon Tatum, Jack Posobiec, Benny Johnson, Graham Allen. None of them say this, what Blake is saying right now. Why? They were all in there. Why didn't they say that they can see what supposedly this unnamed source is saying? This is a common trick by media. I have an unnamed source, will remain unnamed, and says the most damning piece of evidence or intel or whatever piece of information. Anyone else say that? No, just this person. Who is it? Sorry, got to keep my sources confidential. It's nobody. The lady in the orange dress didn't say that. A lot of them said a bunch of other BS, like Brandon and Graham and Jack and Benny. Not one of them said this. It's a total lie. Brandy and Billy said this is, they said what they saw, and they never said that they saw this. So, yeah, I believe them, and I don't believe these people. Look at Andrew, though. I mean, you can't fake that. He's like, whoa, bro, whoa, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes.
Crouch down. Yeah. Take the shot at the time where we know it occurred.
We know the shot happened at 12:23:28. So you see this person roll over
12:23:29.
The sort of railing or whatever that was to the rooftop of the Losi Center. And then Heidi goes on. This is, again, the KUTV local reporter there in Salt Lake City. She says, heartbreaking to watch Erica Kirk and Charlie's parents as they watched in greater detail these final moments before Charlie was shot and killed on campus. So they did watch him assemble the rifle. They saw him go over the railing, and the enhanced video is apparently extraordinarily clear and visual.
How is that even possible? you can't make a blurry video clear unless you do something you shouldn't do to a video, which changes it and it makes it not original, not authentic. If it's shot in a certain, aperture frame rate, you can't change that. It has to be filmed in that frame rate. You can't make a 720 into a 1080 after the fact without perverting it.
So,
and it looks like they also, in the enhanced video, it makes it more clear the limp is he has a right.
You should also question anytime they keep saying enhanced. Notice they're not saying zoomed in. They're not saying zoomed in. They're saying enhanced. That's a pretty important distinction because the prosecution didn't use the word enhanced. They said all they did was zoom in, circle things, blur other things, point to things. But now we have these cronies saying zoomed in. They're saying enhanced. That's also what Kash Patel said, right? That early on that they uploaded enhanced video and photos of the alleged shooter. You shouldn't be enhancing anything, bro. What are you talking about? Jim Carrey, let's go, Matt, to 20K by the end of the weekend. Go, Max. Why? What are we at right now? Let me see. What are we at? 18,989. Cool. That's awesome. All right, let's continue with the cronies, and then we're going to get to one of the most egregious things that they do on this show. It's coming up.
Rifle-shaped object in his pants. It seems they're able to zoom in and make that.
Another report.
So now they're able to zoom in on the most grainy Sasquatch photo, where the original photo, he's this big, itty bitty, way out there. But now they're able to zoom in and enhance the video. So remember the stairwell photos and video. You can see the outline of the phone in his right pocket. You could see the outline of the keys in his left pocket. Can you see the outline of a rifle down his pant leg? No. Can you see the outline of a rifle in the pant leg when he's climbing up the stairs before he goes onto the roof? No. But the worst quality photo, which is the surveillance photo from the big building far behind the Losi Center, which captures all of the Losi Center roof footage, which is filmed at a distance, and they zoom in. And now we're knowing they enhanced it too. Now you can see the outline of the rifle. You already know that's a lie because they showed us their version of the enhanced zoomed in of the suspected alleged shooter running and jumping off the roof, and you don't see anything but a towel or a blanket in his hand, and it's horrible quality. So you know that zooming in does not enhance the quality. It doesn't magically turn it into 4K. So what the heck are they talking about? They're lying. Or this is an AI enhanced video that's not authentic, not genuine, and not original.
Actually just reached out to me and said the enhanced surveillance video, Jeff Nyman, the Kirk family representative, got the court to play at the end was the, quote, single most damning piece of evidence in the state's arsenal.
How crazy is that? Let me pull something up real quick. How crazy is that? Let me go to my profile. Let's read this. I wrote something directly to these cronies. All right. All right, let's see if I can share. Please don't mess up the stream. Dope, it didn't. All right, because I pre-watched this, so I saw them say that, right? I said breaking. So this was the prosecution's big finish. Let me get this straight. After 4 days of testimony, the prosecution rested its case for the preliminary hearing. It did. It said that. Nygaard or whatever his name is said that. From everything the public was allowed to see, the case against Tyler Robinson largely centered on Lance Twiggs's testimony, the text messages, the Discord chats, and the burned note. Beyond that, much of the evidence presented consisted of circumstantial evidence, poor quality surveillance video, blurry photos, and disputed DNA and ballistic evidence. Then, on the final day of the preliminary hearing, After the cameras were removed and the public could no longer see every exhibit, prosecutors allegedly played, they did, what commentators are calling the smoking gun, the most damning piece of evidence, Andrew just said. An enhanced video that, according to those who viewed it in court, not all, just these ones, they say clearly shows Tyler climbing the railing, assembling the rifle, and taking the shot. Seriously? After an entire week of debate over blurry footage and identification, we're now being told that the one exhibit the public couldn't watch is the piece that supposedly removes every doubt. If that enhanced video is truly as conclusive as claimed, it should ultimately stand up to public scrutiny through the normal court process. Until then, people are being asked to rely on descriptions of evidence they haven't seen for themselves. So do you trust Tyler and Blake? No. Do you trust Benny Johnson and the other people that were present that we already have no reason to trust? Do you trust them? No. Oh, yes. Ika? Oh, Jessica? Oh, that's funny, like Jessica. Oh, Jessica. So the morally superior Christians are laughing and excited about the potential death penalty of a kid they know is innocent before his trial has even began. Yeah, that's freaking disgusting. And they call us demonic. They call us satanic. Yeah. Yep. Rich.
We saw a lot of evidence.
We saw a lot of damning evidence.
You didn't. None of you were present in the court. You saw what we saw, which was not damning and was not a lot.
And for an independent reporter to say that to me is...
Oh, yeah. He's independent because Andrew says he's independent. 2 weeks later, we'll have found out that this person is on the payroll of TPUSA.
Yeah, and I hope these journalists write about it. And actually, I think we might be getting Jack Posobiec. He might be joining just to describe what he saw, because I believe he was inside the courtroom.
Oh, he's joining, all right.
Steve, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but my instant reaction is I can't imagine what Erica and Rob and Kathy must have been feeling to see it in that vivid detail. You know, most murder cases, and this is what's so funny about the internet. The internet's like, well, you can't see his face and it's blurry. Most murder convictions happen without video of the actual incident.
Yeah, because there's other evidence that is strong enough to lead to a, conviction, right? It's not because, they don't have video evidence in those trials means that there was lacking evidence to result in a conviction. It just means there was strong enough evidence they didn't even need it, or there wasn't any available. But the video and photographic evidence in this case is wholly lacking.
Go ahead and throw up the first one that that's somebody sent me this, but
so now we're supposed to believe, okay, and this is the part that is in line with the YouTube, my thumbnail and title. Now they're going to say that true, genuine Candace Owens followers, those that supposedly were tuning into her show every day, after watching the evidence from the preliminary trial this week, have come to the light, have seen the error of their ways, and are now posting on X, apologizing, asking for forgiveness. And, you just can't make it up. Like we don't all know that there's not bots out there, fake accounts out there. This is not real. These are fake accounts. They might be real people, but it might be like Andrew that created an account with a different name.
Says, I would like to admit I drank some of the Candace Kool-Aid. And
notice 4 likes. 4 likes. All right. He was saying, I drank some of the Candace Kool-Aid.
Now I feel so gutted for ever believing Erica had anything to do with it. And there's actually,
Hey, we should find out if this person's real. Madeline Diane. Doubt it.
a second one here that I just found, if I can get it loaded here for us. Oh, never mind. That's the wrong one. Somebody sent me another one, but I put it in the wrong file.
I think what you said is really good, Steve, and
No, I don't care what
we have to acknowledge.
And I do not blame anyone for believing it as I did.
Sorry, I played it. So this person, Janelle the Gauss, only has 153 views. Yeah, doubt that. So they supposedly have a blue check mark, which means they're authenticated to be real. I mean, this could also be fabricated in ChatGPT. I watched several of Candace's podcasts. I was one of the people who believed Israel was somehow involved. It was extremely convincing, and I do not blame anyone for believing it as I did. Lesson learned: to wait for the actual evidence. This is how you know it's fake, because we didn't see any actual evidence that pointed to Tyler this week. This is BS. I will never make this mistake again. I regret it, and I stand with Erica. Cross Heart America flag. Buh.
Lesson learned: to wait for actual evidence. I will never make this mistake again. I regret it, and I stand with Erica. Like, these are just starting to pop up on social media right now.
Yeah, from Israel or DC or from the TPUSA headquarters or from any, dual accounts made by Jack and all these minions at TPUSA, or they asked some of their college student, volunteers to, post from their account, just change their profile photo and post this, please.
And, so I think if we as a movement can build up antibodies to some of this, I think that would be really positive. And people have my sympathies. I have entertained conspiracy theories, certainly. And why wouldn't I, after COVID, after the Hunter Biden laptop, after all this crap that's been stuffed down our throats? I know we're wrestling with the.
All right. Now we're going to get to Jack Posobiec. Let me get to that super that just came in. We got, Jessica just became a member. Welcome to the team. Jessica, thank you for becoming a member. All right, wait. All right, let's get to Jack Posobiec.
Tech there. Jack Posobiec, Human Events Daily, was there today. Jack, you were in the courtroom for this viewing of this video, the enhanced video. Tell us what you saw.
Look, guys, I'm not gonna mince words. All right, I'm gonna be blunt because it deserves it, and I'm just gonna say what it was. You see him shooting Charlie. You see him executing Charlie.
Did Brandon Tatum say that? Did Benny Johnson say that? Did the white lady in the orange dress, the news lady, say that? No. Brandy and Billy said, no, you don't see that. You see someone climbing over. It's not clearer. It's not high def. It's not 4K. They zoom in on it. It's still the poor quality that it is. You can't tell who it is. It's still just the blurry Sasquatch video. You don't see him assemble the rifle. You don't see him take it out of his pants. You see him climb the railing, run over, and lay down. You don't see a muzzle flash. You don't see a recoil. You don't hear a shot because there's no audio. He lays down, pauses. Then it hits 12, 23, and 30 seconds after the shot that we know, right after the big bang. And then he runs and jumps off. Don't trust anything this tool ever says.
You see him take the shot. And so you've seen the video, and Blake, I know you were there, man. And
okay, Blake wasn't at the courthouse. Blake was at the event, okay, at the UVU event, but I've watched that video. Blake doesn't see anything. Blake's looking down at his phone. The big bang goes off. Blake doesn't look. Neither does Mikey McCoy. The big bang goes off. They don't look to see anything. They don't look at anything. Within 0.085 seconds, they're booking it that way. Not running, not hiding, not screaming, not ducking, not looking for cover. They just turn around that way. They turn their back to Charlie and walk away. Blake didn't see anything. Blake didn't witness a thing. Intentionally. He didn't want to. He already knew what was going to happen, in my opinion.
It was like watching Charlie die all over again, seeing this video.
No, it wasn't.
It's the most damning thing I've seen all week.
Nope.
For Tyler Robinson.
Nope.
With the zoom in, it just changes everything. It's like watching a completely different video, because the one that zoomed out, you can't even see anything.
Ask yourself, why are some of them saying zoomed in? Some of them are saying enhanced. Some of them are saying 4K. None of them are saying the same thing. How come Brandon Tatum, Benny Johnson, and Jack Posobiec, how come they all have a different account of what they saw in the courtroom when they witnessed this video? And how come none of it matches up with people that are unbiased, objective bystanders in this, there to actually just see the truth and then report it to us? Is it zoomed in or is it enhanced? Is it 4K or is it the original video just zoomed in? It can't be all of the above.
This one, he walks up. It's just like the officer said earlier in the, I guess it was day one, that he walks up over the guardrail, goes down, and you could see him kind of working on something. And it's, I believe that's when he was assembling the rifle. He then stands up. He runs very quickly across the gravel roof to the edge. And then when he gets to the edge, you see him go down, and he's in the prone position. And it's, they have this.
He's thinking about, should he lie? He's thinking about, look at that smile. He was also naval intelligence, by the way. He's thinking about, am I actually going to do this? Should I actually do this?
Clock, like the timestamp that's up, and it's 12:20. I think it's 12:21, 12:22 when he first gets there, and I'm just sitting there like, stop the clock, like don't, like trying to will time to stop, like don't get to 12:23, like just don't get to 12:23, and he gets to 12:23, and you see him take the shot.
So Jack will have you believe that he just was trying to will time to stop. Okay, Jack, little man, you. And then he says, and then you see him take the shot. Maybe you should go talk to Brandon Tatum and find out why you guys saw two totally different videos.
And he gets back up, and then he runs across, and you've seen the end of it already, where he makes the jump, but
which is the same video, and it's piss poor quality.
It's all there. It's all there. It's on video. It all lines up, and I got very, very angry watching this video in court. I was gripping the seat.
Oh, really?
I think I almost broke my rosary.
Really? You busted it out like you did on the day that Charlie was killed, when you couldn't even remember the Lord's Prayer? Lead us not into temptation. Oh, let me get out my rosary real quick. You almost broke the bench, or you were gripping the bench. You almost broke your rosary. Oh, Jack, you're not that strong. You have too high of a view of yourself, my man. We all see you for what you are, little man, boy, child. Who it is? Let's see. Zamet, what is up? Well, okay, so you're being funny, right? You're like, Jack is just like, but trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. I saw it. He took the shot. trust me, bro? No, we don't trust you, bro. We distrust you, bro.
And to know that Erica and Charlie's parents had to watch this with Tyler, and he was sitting right there.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't even look, by the way. He wouldn't even look. And someone told me that his own monitor was off. He wouldn't even look at the video as it was being played.
Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. He would have you believe that the reason, so like Jack knows why he didn't look, right? Just like Benny Johnson knows that he just was overcome with guilt, right? That's why he wouldn't turn around and he was just looking at the ground. Now it's Jack's turn. Jack's saying that he knows inside Tyler's brain, and the reason why Tyler didn't look at the screen is because he knows what he did and he feels guilty for it. Or he didn't kill Charlie Kirk. He realized that he played some sort of peripheral role in some sort of crime, and he feels guilty that he played that role. And he never saw the video, and he doesn't want to watch it now. Or it's that he knows it's Lance Twiggs, his former lover, that framed him and is allowing him to be on the stand for murder, or be, on trial for murder, and got up on the witness stand, in the interview room and video, and played for the court, and pretty much condemned him, damned him to death. I wouldn't want to watch it either. I'd be pissed. I'm not going to watch a video of someone else framing me for murder and watch it while everyone in there tries to say it's me. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to watch either. And no, I'm not going to turn around and engage with Erica Kirk and Charlie's parents. And I'm not going to turn around and talk to my parents. The lawyers are going to give him instructions not to do that.
Of what he did. And the fact that he was so close to us. It is an unspeakable evil. It's, since seeing the original video, this is the worst thing I've seen.
No,
this is the worst thing I've seen.
He's trying to tell you that this video of a blurry Sasquatch, little man, black little figure on a roof is worse than the footage of Charlie Kirk being murdered, of the actual video of Charlie being killed. That this footage of some person on a roof, climbing a railing, running and laying down in gravel. And like Brandon said, you can't see the muzzle flash. You don't see the recoil. You just see him lay down. That a person laying down at a distance and then getting up and running is worse than seeing their friend murdered. Let that sink in. What? Okay, Jack.
Other than the actual video of the gunshot itself connecting, that it was very hard to watch. Yeah, there was a shockwave across the entire crowd.
No.
And by the way, the video, so you could see him walking up too. And the video that we can see, and this, I need to explain this to everybody who, and by the way, sorry, I know I'm jumping around. I'm a little flustered, but the video that we see played on that monitor is so much more clear than the video that's on the live stream. When you see him walking around, it's not just a blurry guy or a pixelated guy, it's Tyler Robinson. It's just very obviously, when he's there in the red shirt and shorts and then he comes back in all black, it's the same guy. It's just obviously him. There's no question about it. It's so crystal clear. And every single one of these videos needs to be released publicly in its raw form so that everyone can see that. I understand, certain things.
They can say that because they know it's not going to be. If it ever does, it'll be FOIA'd years after the trial's concluded. So it goes to trial. Say it goes to trial in 2028. It's going to be the same cameras in the same courtroom at the same distance, maybe a different courtroom, Relatively, it'll all be the same though, and the quality will be the same as it is today. All right. He knows it's gonna be a long time, if ever, that we get to see these videos in the supposed quality that he's talking about, because he knows it's not a better quality. You can't do that to a video without throwing it into AI and making it something it's not. You could zoom in on it, but it's still going to be piss poor quality.
Wait, holding back until trial. I get all that, right? But everyone needs to understand it's on video. Okay, it's on video. It is him. Benny Johnson came by today, and he hadn't been there early in the week, and he said he was stunned because he's been watching the live stream. I'm not watching the live stream, and he said he was stunned at how much better the video quality is when you're sitting there. And I guess, you know, compression and it's live stream and the quality, whatever, we all know the tech, but it's very obviously him walking up to that roof.
So,
and then to know and see, I mean, we all know what happened, but to see it, I mean, it's just playing over and over again in my head.
Jack, thank you for sharing that. And again, my thoughts instantly go to Erica and Kathy and Rob having to see the very moment that Charlie's life was robbed from him. You said, just to be clear, you said that in this enhanced video, you can see him taking the shot. In the prone position, you see him taking the shot. And I just
look at him squirm. Look at him squirm. When he hears it played back to him, when he hears his statement posed back at him as a question, he is uncomfortable because he knows it's not true. Brandon Tatum said it himself. He said it himself. You don't see him take the shot. You don't see a muzzle flash. You don't see a recoil. There's no audio. You don't hear the big bang. You just see a dude lay down. And it's matched up with the time when we know Charlie was killed. And then you see the kid run. That's all it shows. So what the heck are they doing? They're freaking lying. Zammit, my lie detector is overheating. Yeah, mine shut down. It crashed at like the second minute of my video tonight. I've had to reboot multiple times. Just keeps crashing. Every time these freaking idiots start talking. They're like the dodo birds from the movie Up, or are there dodo birds like in Alice in Wonderland? I think there might be.
I asked just because I'm sure there's going to be questions about it. Is
Sure is.
there any explanation of how the video was enhanced?
Please tell me you all saw that. Let's see that again. Let's see if you guys can count how many times Jack starts blinking. Don't pass out, bro. Hold it together. You've done okay. You've done okay so far. No, he hasn't. But they're gonna let each other believe that they have. Andrew and Blake are as underwhelming as their new studio. They have no delivery and can't sell it either. Neither should be in broadcasting. No, 100%. I've been doing this since January. I've surpassed them, not by my own standard, but by people that have wrote to me, my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, my wife, and many of you. Because I'm just being me. I don't have an agenda. I don't have anything to push. This is just me being me. I'm just telling you what I think and what I feel. I have no script. I don't read a prompter. This is all just live. You could tell when I mess up. They all are playing a part, a role, and reading from a script. They are pushing an agenda. They're pushing a narrative. And they suck. Let's watch how many times Jack blinks.
I I asked just because I'm sure there's going to be questions about it. Was there any explanation of how the video was enhanced?
Oh, dang. Is he having a seizure?
It's just a simple zoom in. It's not anything other than that. It's just literally just zoomed in.
Oh, well, that doesn't make sense. Then why are we saying enhanced? Why is Benny Johnson saying it went from low res to 4K? Why are you saying that by zooming in, somehow the quality is enhanced so much? It's undeniable that it's Tyler. You can even see the outline of the rifle in his pants. You can see him assemble the rifle. You can see him take the shot. How can they contradict themselves so many times in the same broadcast and not realize how bad that makes them look? How can none of them self-correct in the moment and try to resolve this glaring issue?
It's like, how when he first when we didn't know who Tyler Robinson was, and they put out that first video of him dropping off the awning,
The
I guess,
Losi.
of the Losi building.
Mhm.
It's just that it's like the 5 minutes or so prior to that. So
Right. Let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen. Notice that he is stumbling on his words. Let's take a look at how bad this footage is. Okay. Let's go here. Pause. Share. Bingada boongada bang. All right. Let me set this up for you. This video is filmed from a surveillance security camera. There's a building multiple stories high behind this camera, right? It's mounted on the wall on the exterior of a corner of the building behind. And it's facing out that way, and it's capturing about 180 degrees out, okay? In this video, it's filmed at a distance, does not zoom in itself. They zoom in after the fact. When you do that, it does not increase the quality and the clarity of the footage. You just get closer. And since the quality and clarity is bad, it actually magnifies the lack of clarity and quality. Okay? You're just closer to it. So it makes it more pronounced at how bad the quality is. He admitted himself, it's not enhanced. It's just zoomed in. And then he's going to reference this video and say, it's just like this when they zoomed in after the fact of him jumping off the roof. It's just the earlier portion of that video zoomed in on that direction. So what we can logically deduce, to use Brandon Tatum's own words, is that the quality is exactly the same in the zoom in of this one as the zoom in of that one. So let's see if we can see if it's Tyler, if we can see a rifle, if we can see definition, clarity, just, all of that. Let's see. Let's see what we can see. So this corner is where the shot supposedly was taken. And when we zoom in over here and you see how bad the quality is, just imagine that, but over here, zoomed in that direction. No definition. It enhances the bad quality. Here he comes. No clarity. And when we zoom in, it gets worse. Here we go. We're going to zoom in. Made it worse. Did you see that? Did you see that when we zoomed in, the clarity got worse? Can't see anything. Look how big the pixels are. Look at how unclear the definition and the outline of he is. We can't see the backpack. We can't see the hat. Like, we could see that he has something on his back. We can't see what kind of backpack. We can't see what kind of shoes. When he drops down, we can't see what's in his hand. We see like a towel or a blanket. That's as best as it gets. This is the quality of this enhanced video that they're saying, look at Sasquatch. It's freaking Bigfoot. It's a man in a suit. Nothing. No definition. No clarity. Can't tell anything. See how the outline of the roof is jagged, it's pixelated, it's blurred. That's the quality they're talking about when they speak about the earlier half of this video of the person climbing over the railing and going out to the shooting position. You cannot discern anything from that video.
It looks pretty similar to that in terms of quality. It's just that same, it's just a zoom in process. There's no, it doesn't look like.
And so now Andrew and Blake, look at them, look down. Now they know, holy smokes, you can't see anything. We've seen that other video thousands of times. You can't discern anything from that video. You can't tell that it's Tyler. You can't tell if he's got a gun or he doesn't. There's no way that all of this enhanced quality, clarity, 4K that Benny Johnson and you and freaking Graham Allen and Brandon Tatum talk about, you guys are lying. Why did you guys lie? We're in the last 10 minutes of the show and you finally tell the truth. Most people don't wait this long in a video of these cronies to get to this last 5 minutes to find out they've been lying the whole entire time. They saved the best for last.
Like there's any AI upscaling or any of that stuff. It literally just looks like a zoom in on. So they took that wide screen because, of course, looking at everything. But
oh my gosh, you can't make it up. Andrew's like, Jack, shut up. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Stop. Nope. You're doing too much. You're saying too much. You should have stopped at zoomed in. You should have just stopped at zoomed in. Shouldn't have compared it to the video that we all saw, which is freaking garbage. Jack, thanks. Have a nice day. Bye.
It's just a zoom in. Just a zoom in.
Yeah, Jack, I'm so glad we got the tech figured out.
One of the worst things.
Yeah.
I'm
so glad we got the tech figured out for you to tell us that, because it was really important. And thank you for being there on the ground with the Kirk family and the whole team, being a support. And Steve Dace has been with us all hour. Steve, thank you.
Bye. You guys are cronies. What's this one? Oh, this just posted. Hold on. This just happened. All righty. Everyone, compliments of the wifey. Thank you, baby. Let's see what the moron says.
Spokesman, executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show, and a close friend of the Kirk family, Andrew Kolvet. Andrew, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. I'm sure this week was particularly difficult for you, being so close to Charlie Kirk and, of course, to his family. Before we get started, just want to ask, when was the last time you've spoken to Erica? How's everyone doing?
Yeah, I mean, I've stayed in contact with the larger team there in Utah pretty closely throughout the week, and I was aware of this filing that just happened, and it's referencing, by the way, this a Utah code where the victim and their family is, entitled to a speedy disposition, and that the defense cannot unduly hold that up. We want a fair trial. The defense certainly has their rights here, but at the same time, I've seen other people make the comment that normally pleas come within 24 to 48 hours in this country of being arraigned. So it's just kind of a head scratcher here that we are approaching the 1 year mark, and we're being, forced to sit through a 5-day preliminary.
This is the first day of the trial when Charlie's father and mother enter, and Stacy, the evil witch Sheridan, tried to act like she was there to greet them and usher them in together, and Charlie's father pulled his shoulder away, and she ended up walking like 5 feet behind. And there's a reason why Tyler hasn't pleaded yet, in my opinion. It's because he didn't kill Charlie Kirk.
Preliminary hearing where even the prosecution this morning was saying the evidence is overwhelming. The evidence is devastating, I think was the word that they chose there. And I agree. I think a lot of people that have seen this and seen the evidence dispassionately believe that there's a lot here that should warrant a full trial. I don't know what we're waiting for September 1st for. And so when you ask me, how does it
Maybe because the judge doesn't think so.
feel personally, it's bittersweet. Obviously, I'm so grateful that the world gets to see this mountain of evidence, but I hate how long it takes. I think this is a huge problem, especially in the era of social media, that it takes this long to get information like this out to the public, this evidence out to the public. I wish the justice system moved at the speed of social media, but to the extent that we can shrink the gap, I am very much in favor of that, and I'm open to solutions there.
And Andrew, I've also noticed that on your social media, specifically X, that you have been live streaming this entire thing, and I sense that you're trying to get that transparency that you're talking about, so everyone knows exactly what is happening, despite maybe some of the conspiracy theories that have been tossed around.
Yeah.
And somebody I want to bring up right now that you put a tweet out at, that is Candace Owens. You wrote this: Candace, you and Charlie were not friends. He managed you. He kept things light and polite so you wouldn't turn on the org. You were not his friend. You are not his defender. You were his tormentor. And now you torment his wife and the organization he built. Candace, you are a fraud. Talk about why you felt the need to post that.
Talk about why you felt the need to make that up. Can you show me one text, one phone call, one audio, one video where Charlie echoed any one of those sentiments? Nope, they don't exist. Why was Charlie asked in August 2025 to disavow, to unfriend, and not speak positively of Candace Owens? Why was one of the last things Charlie texted when he said that the Jewish donors play into all the stereotypes? I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. I'm having Tucker on. I'm thinking about having Candace on too. And then whoever it was on the other end of that text was like, nah, I wouldn't do that if I were you. That may seem like a good idea in the short term, but in the long term, that's not a good idea. If Charlie thought of her as a tormentor, why would he be wanting to have her on? Why, when he was asked in September to unfriend her and disavow everything that she said and done, he goes, Candace is my friend. She has a lot of interesting ideas on Israel. We don't always see eye to eye on everything, but you know what I don't do? I don't stop being friends with someone because someone tries to pressure me to do so. She was at my wedding. I was at hers. I was with her when she met her husband. That was in August, just weeks before the assassination. Andrew's a liar.
Well, I don't need to. I feel like I said enough there, and I if I need to say more, I will. I think in general, though,
say more.
It goes back to the fact that we need rational minds to be loud right now. We need people that are based in facts and evidence to be loud right now. There's been a lot of people that have co-opted and appropriated this terrible tragedy, whatever their motives would be, and that's why I started this interview out with you guys saying we want speed and transparency to the extent that that's possible while protecting the suspect's rights. And I think that's the reason, because sunlight is the best disinfectant. Letting the world see what really happened that terrible day is going to do a lot to nip some of this stuff in the bud before it could run rampant on social media. And we're worried about the jury. We're worried about protecting the potential jury pool. We're worried about those types of things, and rightly so, especially in the era of social media. I mean, this was the highest profile political assassination since JFK, and it's the first one in the social media era.
Oh, bro, you can't do that to me.
And so there's a lot that the judge has to contend with. I think Judge Graff has done a admirable job, and I certainly think he could go quicker, though. And so that's what the family's representative is putting forward with this motion that they just filed, and hopefully he'll be sympathetic to it.
Information.
They're just the worst. You know what I mean? All right, hold on. How long is this? Oh, that's long, sweetheart. Let me see the other one first. Well, let me pull this off screen real quick. All right. We are at that part of the program where I got to just check a couple boxes. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe. It's the best way to help support this channel, and I appreciate it. After the video is done and it posts, please head over and throw a comment underneath the video. It helps the algorithm. All right. These are the free, easy ways to help support me. No one has to give money. You don't have to give super chats. Thank you if you do. Love it when you do. But the best way to help support is to hit the like, hit the subscribe, write a comment, and then hype the video for free. All right. Also, I'm still going to play Charlie Kirk clip, so just hold on. I'm just getting this out of the way. If you want to donate but don't want to give through YouTube, scan the QR code, donate to the Black Line Brief Venmo account here. All right. Or you could donate here at buymeacoffee.com/the Black Line Brief. Just when you do so, please write a comment or a memo, a note or a memo as to what you would like your donation or support to go to, and I make sure that it does. We are at that part of the program where we keep it focused on Charlie. And let me share on the screen and pull up Charlie. Let me take that one off. That's not. Oh, there it is. Let me turn it down. This audio was louder.
With the definition that a criminal is someone who breaks the law.
Here's where I'm thinking. Here's the thing. I know how he's going to turn it, and I don't fully agree.
It's not a matter of turning it. How about affirmative action hiring practices in the federal government? We are such a decent, non-racist country. The best example that he has is to show that he was mistreated. And if he acted like this at the DeSantis event, I can see why he was kicked out of the DeSantis event.
I mean, that's like close to being a fascist, and then
okay. How am I? Sorry. Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
Dude,
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
You believe that you on.
Wait.
Hopefully the music on that doesn't flag the video. All right, here we go. Right here.
Colorado. Originally, I'm from Illinois. Anyone from Illinois out there? Yeah, I'm sorry. See, the fun thing about Illinois is we have term limits, a little bit different than most states. It's 1 term in office, 1 term in jail. So when we ask for our governor's cell number, we actually mean his cell number. My grandmother was a lifelong Republican, passed away in the mid-1990s, and she's been voting Democrat ever since.
I've never seen this.
So you might wonder how a kid from Chicago got started on this journey. So I'm honored to run the nation's largest conservative student organization, Turning Point USA, on over 1,400, 1,400 college and high school campuses across the country. Started
people that say, wait, let me pause it on a better.
This from the suburbs.
I don't want to have him blinking. Hold on. Let me pull it off. People that say he wasn't a good looking guy, you're freaking stupid. People that say that, he married up when he married Erica. Shut up. Enough is enough. James Cadiz, Jack Hibbs, freaking Frank Turek, Greg Laurie, and Rob McCoy. You guys are freaking stupid. All right. He was articulate. He was intelligent. He was ethical. He was good looking. I think you don't marry the rebound. He was in love with this woman that he was dating before Erica. He asked to go to the next level of commitment. She didn't reciprocate. That's freaking heartbreaking. Erica was the next woman that entered his life right after. And she said all the right things. And all the people that were around him were pressuring him to hurry up and marry her. God told me you have to marry her. She is going to be the thing that blesses you and your organization, and your future will not be blessed by God if you don't marry her. Hurry to marry her before God removes the blinders on her eyes, because right now she doesn't realize what a goofy, dorky, geeky man you are. That's James Cadiz's words himself. He was funny. You know, people just are the freaking worst.
Chicago with no money, no connections, and no idea what I was doing. And only in America could an 18-year-old kid with limitless ambition and a work ethic and no money, no connections, no idea what he was doing succeed. Only in America is that story possible. And
Now, I got to make sure that TPUSA isn't the one that posted this. Okay, Central Institute. All right, cool. I don't want to get copyright dinged.
7 years later, it's just been the most amazing journey. And we've made some unbelievable, significant progress on high school and college campuses. But despite the progress, I'm going to tell you right now, the fight has just begun on these campuses. You know, there's so many important fights. Tom Fitton is a total American hero fighting in the courts. I mean, he does so much at Judicial Watch, all these subpoenas. I mean, we would not have half the information if it wasn't for Tom Fitton. And that's an amazing fight. It really is.
Oh, while we're on the James Cadiz thing, somebody sent me this. Let's see. Do I have it up? Oh, man, I hit share before. Hold on. Let me go back. Is it up on the screen? Stop. Hit pause. Stop. Let me see. Is it up on the screen? Give me a second. Okay, cool. It is. All right. Wait till you see James Cadiz in his roto scooter and his deformed leg. Crystal Smallin, one of our community members here, sent me this. You'll see him on his scooter come out. Oh, and Stacy Sheridan and whoever the heck. Oh, is this the wife of what's his name? Don Jr. Is that who that is? I don't know. I think that is right. And she is the daughter of Jeffy Eppy's banker. Hold on. We're getting to James Cadiz. It's coming. Hold on. Look at these evil people, dude. Oh, this guy had the audacity to say that he is just like Charlie Kirk, that him and Charlie are like the same person. What's wrong with his feet? What's wrong with his leg? What's wrong with him? Who did he eat? Oh, and we got grown man baby Graham, grown man baby man child baby Graham. And we got tater tot Tatum. What do you know? Yep. Thanks for that, Crystal Smallin. Always got to keep it in perspective.
I mean, whether it be the text messages from the lovers or all of the Hillary Clinton emails, all that stuff, Tom Fitton's a total hero. But the fight that I have focused my short career on, and the fight that I'm imploring all of you to focus on, is the fight on college campuses for the future of our culture, country, and the soul of this country. Because if we're really serious about where these bad ideas come from, we have to look at the originating source. And actually even starts earlier than college. Starts in high schools, starts in grade schools, starts at school boards, starts at the textbook level. And by the way, that's why I'm such a big fan of homeschooling. I mean, homeschooling gets all this bad rap, right? I mean, homeschooling, if it was up for me, millions of more people should homeschool their kids. And
who's going to homeschool his kids if his wife is the CEO, jet setting, boss babe culture, on the road 325, 350 days a year? Who's going to homeschool Gigi and Mac? Who's taking care of them right now? Where are they? You know, it's so sad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at 4 hours. My rump is numb. My feet hurt. I love you guys. We can finish this video actually tomorrow at the Charlie Kirk clip section of tomorrow night's video, because I think this is a great video and I want to finish it. So love you guys. Thank you so much for all your love and support. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed night. God bless you guys from me and my family and from this community. Have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.